The Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers is back at Gingerman Raceway in South Haven, Michigan for round number 4 of the 2024 season. Will Sam Guerin and Jesse Janish be able to battle with Ruben Zaus at the top of the Bagger GP field? Will Arnie Wells be able to show a wheel to Cody Gilmore at the front of the Pro Stock Bagger class? And then, of course, will we see more of the high-flying battling action out of our metric classes between Art Short, Jamie Hansen, and Scott Short? We're going to find out all this and more right here, right now, live on Racer TV. Hello everybody and welcome back to round number 4 of the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers, day 2 of the doubleheader weekend. Tony, little different scenario than we saw yesterday. We had some drizzle early in the morning, cloud cover throughout most of the day. Today, it's that South Haven, Michigan sunshine.
Yeah, the sun is out today, so we're going to be dealing with a full dry track, so there's no question on traction today. So that's going to maybe shake some stuff up. There a few teams were being cautious and just, try not to push the limits too hard yesterday in the rain. Today should be some exciting racing.
Absolutely, it's going to be exciting to see for sure. We had some shakeups there in the top side of the Bagger GP class. Jesse Janish able to get things figured out, get that motorcycle running, and he was headed towards the front late in that race.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Bagger GP race today. We got a full field today. Should be exciting.
Well, the sun is shining, the announcers are smiling, and we're getting ready to go racing here in just a moment after we hear from our sponsors. Hello everybody and welcome to round number 4 of the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers, a BRL racing event. We're out here at Gingerman Raceway. A beautiful day, a little different than the scene that we saw yesterday. This is day 2 of the doubleheader weekend, rounds 3 and 4. And I think the action is going to be even more intense than we saw yesterday. Zach Herron here alongside Tony Tucker in the Tucker Speed Studio. And Tony, we had a great day of racing yesterday. I'm expecting more of the same today.
I think it's going to be even more exciting. We can see there's blue skies out today. Yesterday there was a lot of cloud cover and wet conditions that the riders were dealing with. So hopefully that's going to tighten up and create some good battles out there today.
Absolutely, and helping create some of those battles is this Gingerman Raceway. As you see, getting the track map on board there, we've got 11 corners on the track today, and the same track designer, and I'm not sure if he was the sole track designer or just part of the process, but the same track designer as we had out in Nebraska for rounds 1 and 2. We see some of those similarities, a couple of off-camber corners, as well as some double apex corners, but what better way to see it than right here with the Ultra Cool track preview.
Yeah, this is a great way to see what it feels like in the seat of a Bagger Racing League motorcycle. This track is, talking to all the racers over the past couple of days has been a challenge to the riders, and that's always good. I mean, the riders got to learn their motorcycles, but they also got to learn the track. The track has got some good, blind corners. You can see right here, they're going uphill right now into turn 3, and it's kind of, you don't see the turn until you crest the hill, which is really challenging. And if you're not on point, have your braking markers nailed down, then you miss the line.
Absolutely, and we saw several of these corners open up some great passing opportunities, especially in some of our Superbike classes. Some of those little more nimble machines, riders able to slip up the inside, and really made for some action-packed racing yesterday.
Yeah, it's great to see. We have the next-gen Superbike class taking their sighting lap right now, going out, kind of, seeing the track, kind of getting loose, getting ready for the race, and just trying to calm the nerves, get ready, for the green flag, because there's nothing like the drop of the green flag, all that adrenaline, all that, emotion and everything. You just got to stay calm, stay in the moment, and get ready for that green flag.
Absolutely, and you can see that the fans are also getting ready for the green flag to drop out here in South Haven. We've got a huge turnout here in person, as well as we want to welcome all of our racing family and community out on RacerTV.com. Excited to announce the partnership between Racer TV and the Bagger Racing League for the rest of the 2024 season. And when we say at BRL you can be a part of the action, that's not just a catchphrase. This is the Bagger Racing League Fan Lap. It takes place at all of our rounds. We have a lot of motorcycle communities, whether it's racers, whether it's former riders, or just good old-fashioned fun lovers. They come out, they throw on a helmet, and they can be a part of the action taking place in the Fun Lap.
Yeah, it's a unique experience for the fans to be able to jump on their motorcycles, come out here and spin a lap on the racetrack, and get to see what the riders are dealing with. And I think it really makes them appreciate what they're watching on track throughout the day.
Absolutely, and maybe we'll give a couple of them the bug. They'll start chopping up those rides and getting ready to go BRL racing. And right now, we are getting ready to go racing with our next generation Superbike class. We've got Kat Bukowski on the 995 coming out of Kansas on that Technomoto backed machine, as well as backed by Gray Area KTM. We've also got Jamie Hansen. He was one to watch yesterday on that LM2 back ride. DP Brakes, LM2, and Michelin Tires helping them. We'll run through the rest of our field, but right now we've got the green flag flying and already some passes being made into turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like the 911 of Jamie Hansen out to a quick lead over Scott Short on the 151 there. These guys battled a lot yesterday. It looks like same thing today, and this battle is developing really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott Short, he was your pole position qualifier. This is a doubleheader weekend, but riders running off of the same qualifying positions from Saturday on Sunday. So Scott had the pole position, but it was the 911 of Jamie Hansen making some quick moves and sliding into that number 1 position. But we'll see whether Short's able to hang in tough. It looks like that is going to be Arch York on that KTM Supermoto machine back in 3rd place. And Tony, you know as well as I do, he's not going to be comfortable sitting there. He wants to get inside that top 2.
For sure. I talked to Arch early this morning. We had some coffee together, and he wants to get up there. He made a little bobble yesterday in the race. He had a lapper kind of get in his way and take a line. And he wanted to battle for that 2nd place, had to settle for 3rd, and he wants some redemption today.
Absolutely, and that's Arch York on that 913 KTM Supermoto. He's part of the Underground Team Racing, sponsored by Kansas 811, Missouri 811, and Nebraska 811. So a huge team there with Underground Team Racing, and a solid performance there for the Soul Supermoto ride.
For sure. It's probably my favorite motorcycle out there today. I love seeing the mix of motorcycles out there, and Arch just getting out there on that Supermoto. Hats off to him. He says he has a lot of fun out there in the in the technical sections of the track. He gives up a little bit of horsepower, but he gets in that full tuck down the straightaway and tries to take advantage of it, makes a pass there into turn one.
Able to take advantage of it right there as he moves into the second place spot. And this is part of the attraction with not only the Bagger Racing League, but especially these new metric classes. We have such a variety of machines out on course, so many different backgrounds from the riders on top of them as well. But as you can see right there, the Supermoto able to charge maybe just a little bit harder into the corners. It's something you pointed out yesterday. Really seems like he's able to put the bike where he wants and very nimble on that KTM.
Yeah, that's just it. That bike, is super lightweight. Looking at all the motorcycles on the grids today, and it gives a little bit of horsepower up, but Arch can really just put that bike wherever he wants to, hold down second place. Looking to make a charge from the front of the pack there.
Charging he is as he's slowly but surely looking like he's starting to reel in the back of Jamie Hansen on that 911 machine out front. We could have a battle on our hands for the lead. Arch said he had that one bobble yesterday. If he can clean that up, he thinks he's got a chance at it. And, of course, as always, this is a part of the Bagger Racing League Series, but we've got championship belts for the weekend championship up for grabs. Arch would like to be holding that up at the end of the day down on the podium.
Yeah, definitely a first-place finish today will help his chances. The belts are Olympic-style scoring. A 1-1 to definitely take home that belt, so we'll have to do some math at the end of this one and see who's taking home that belt. But Arch, full tuck, putting his left hand down on the fork, trying to get out of the air and drive forward there. And I think he's inching closer there.
Yeah, definitely looks like he has got Jamie Hansen's number and is trying to track him down. You see really just trying to almost disappear behind that KTM, get as little drag as possible. And at this point, you start to think Hansen probably knows he's back there.
Yeah, he knows he's there by now for sure. And, Arch is on his back wheel there. He's going to start looking inside, outside, find the best places to make those passes, and hopefully come across the line in first.
And we saw some of this yesterday with Arch as well. Sometimes just because he makes a pass like he does right there, slides up the inside and takes the number one position away from Jamie Hansen. So Arch York, your new leader. But like we said, maybe losing just a little bit on those straightaways, not quite able to compete with the motor of the Superbike of Hansen there. So we'll see whether or not Arch is able to make the lead stick by the time they come around the start-finish line. Oh, and look at that. Problems.
Hang on to it there, Jamie. Yeah.
Wow, what a save from Jamie Hansen. That just shows how hard these riders are pushing.
For sure. Wow, that was close. I'm surprised that he was able to keep it on two wheels. The grass is still really wet out there, and if you've ever been on two wheels on wet grass, that's just like riding on ice. So respect. He's not wasting any time. He's just charging forward still.
Yeah, right back in the mix and goes right back to battle with Scott Short, who's holding on to the final podium spot at the moment. Catherine Bukowski and Josh Thompson rounding out your top five. But the one rider who probably had no problems with that, also probably glad to see Jamie not hit the ground. But Arch York, that is exactly what he needed. He had to get the gap out and be able to make up for the motor difference on that KTM Supermoto. We'll see whether or not that is the break he needs to walk away with the win in your next generation Superbike class. As they get ready to come down the front straight once again, there comes Arch by the tower in that full tuck position, and really looks like he's trying to put a charge and pull away to prevent Hansen from tracking him back down.
Yeah, the one thing I was kind of interested in before Jamie went off track there is that, without the draft kind of tucked in behind Jamie, was Arch going to be able to hold the same speed going down the straightaways? But with Jamie kind of going off track there, it's given Arch a nice little cushion there. And, we're getting into the middle part of this race here, and we'll see if he can hold that lead and kind of manage it, or if Jamie's going to charge forward and challenge him for the win.
Well, and we saw it yesterday as well. It was a true back and forth battle. Arch York making a pass. I believe it might have even been on Hansen, and going back and forth, multiple passes. It seemed like on those straights, no matter, he had that KTM wide open, he just couldn't compete. But like you said, in some of these corners, was really able to hug those insides on the KTM and was able to pass them right back.
Yeah, and it looks to me, Arch has some really good speed in the straightaways. Maybe they made some gearing changes or something overnight and found a little bit more top speed down the straightaways, because Arch, honestly, he's looking very impressive today, running out front, got a big lead, obviously with a little bit of help of that off-track shenanigans by Jamie, but he's looking like he's got this on lock.
Absolutely. Well, all of our friends at Racer TV, you're maybe used to watching Johnny Gerard be out front on the KTM at GNCCs. Well, it's Art York right now leading the way in the next generation Superbike on the KTM Supermoto, hiding behind that front number plate, trying to almost disappear behind the handlebars. And like you said, Tony, just really starting to put things together and hit his marks. Doesn't look like Hansen's closing that gap up a lot, and we've probably only got a lap or two left to go by the next time they come around.
Yeah, Arch, I'm super happy for Arch. Like I said, we chatted this morning, and we hooked up over at the Snack Shack and had a good conversation. And Arch and his dad are just two really good guys out here. Arch's dad also races. He's not racing this weekend, but just two really good dudes that really love getting out here and are passionate about this sport. So I'm stoked to see Arch running out front today.
Well, and passion is kind of the backbone of the Bagger Racing League. All of these riders out here having a good time and a lot of trailblazing going on out here. We talked about it some yesterday. Riders hand-making parts, a lot of one-off custom stuff that riders are having to figure out somewhat on the fly. And it's truly, with the new 2024 class layout, we've got an option for almost anybody with a motorcycle that wants to come out and go racing.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, and it's a perfect time sitting here looking at this Supermoto, back, 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago when Supermoto became a thing, guys were taking off-road motorcycles and putting street tires on them and racing it in a discipline that motorcycle was never designed to do. And that's kind of what's happening today in Bagger Racing League. We're taking Harley-Davidson and Indian baggers or full touring motorcycles and equipping them to go out and road race, do something they were never designed to do. So there's kind of some parallels between Bagger Racing and Supermoto, taking a motorcycle, accepting the challenge of trying to make it do something it was never designed to do in the first place. So it's kind of cool to see those two bikes on the track at the same day.
Absolutely, yeah, and we talked about this as well. Your shop Tucker Speed here in the Tucker Speed studio. You guys do a lot of that, so this is not just something you've seen as a rider. You've been there, you've been spinning wrenches, just spending countless hours in the garage, so the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into these bikes.
For sure, I've had the opportunity to jump up in the booth, but in years past I've been with BRL since the beginning, in the first race as a racer and rider, builder, team owner, whatever you want to call it, and so I've seen this sport kind of evolve over the last few years and have an appreciation for it and I want to tell the story of how much work goes into some of the baggers that we're going to see later on today, and some of the passion that these guys really pour into these motorcycles and what it means to them to be out here and have a good weekend.
Well, it certainly has been a good weekend so far, and if this is a sign of what's to come, it's going to be a great day of racing here as the battle is on for the second and third place spot. Jamie Hansen's got a rear view mirror full of Scott Short. He wants to try to make a pass. He saw Jamie Hansen with that off-track excursion, knows he might be a little shaken up, and is trying to make a late race charge.
Yeah, we'll see if Jamie can hang on to it. He already had one giant save today, and can he save a second place here? We'll see. Scott's going to try and challenge him here. Scott's inching up close. It's a good battle for second place here.
Watching now, is there only about a bike length or two apart. Scott really pushing to try to find a way around Hansen. The question is, how hard is Hansen going to fight him for it? Like you said, already kind of got that big give me out of the way, had a huge off-track excursion, could have gone down and saved it. Scott trying to take the long way around.
Scott's looking fast here.
Yep.
He's, looking to make moves. I see the white flag flying out here in front of us. Looks like these guys are heading into turn 11, heading down the front stretch here, so they'll take the white flag. Scott's going to be running out of time. He's got to make it happen this lap.
Yeah, it did look like Hansen was able to pull out about another bike length or three as they headed into turn 11. So now Scott Short goes back to work, and he's got one lap left to try to make a pass for the second place position here in the next generation Superbike class. Out front, all by his lonesome, Supermoto style, Arch York is getting the job done. Oh, hang on to it. A little bobble there from Hansen. Is that going to allow Short to pull right back up on his rear wheel? They get ready to head into that blind corner in turn 3, crest over the hill just before they lean right.
Scott's looking inside outside. He's looking to make that pass again, see if he can make it happen.
Be curious to see. They're headed out of 4. 5 and 6 is one of those double apex corners. We'll see whether or not Short's able to find a way around. He heads wide, maybe going to try to cut back underneath.
Ooh, looks like Hansen got a little loose there. I wonder, if Hansen's struggling with some traction out there today. Obviously, we've seen him go off track, but he's trying to hold it down there. Scott's going the long way around. Looks like he's going to have the inside here going into the next corner.
Wow, look at
Jamie
that.
cuts him off.
Hansen slams the door, so Scott Short was trying to take a peek to the outside, thought he might have had the job done. Hansen absolutely slams the door in his face. Look at this, Short dirts to the other side of the track, going to try to pull something out here in the final few corners. Once again, lines up to the outside. A great job defensively from Jamie Hansen. Checkered flag coming out here at the finish line. It is going to be Arch York taking the win on that KTM Supermoto. We head back to this battle, and once again, Hansen stretches his out, headed into turn 11.
Yeah, it looks like he just didn't quite have enough. Scott has to settle for third, but what a great battle. He charged. He should be proud. He was running a good race and fought a good battle.
Absolute drag race as they come across the finish line, but it is going to be Arch York grabbing the win with Scott Short rounding out the podium, and Jamie Hansen going to hang on for that second place position. And you see Arch York looking pumped up, waving to the fans, revving that thing up. He said he just needed to fix that bobble, and he was going to be competitive. He's able to get the job done. Look at that, picking the front end up in celebration.
There we go. That was a good race. That was exciting. Hats off to Arch. I guess we'll have to have coffee before the race every time.
Hey, absolutely. The tradition's working now. As we take a look at the RacerTV.com replay, it was the 9-11 of Jamie Hansen grabbing the early race lead. You see getting a little shake there, even coming out of turn 1. Scott Short was hot on his heels and looked like they were going to try to break away. But once again, you saw right there, Arch York sneaks around the outside into the third place spot and begins tracking down those top two, showing what that Supermoto is capable of.
Yeah, Arch ran a good race. I mean, I think he was sitting fourth going into turn 1 there. And, he just charged forward all the way to the front and then never looked back.
Arch never afraid to try to peek to the outside and take the long way around. He sneaks back to the inside and was able to make his way around Scott Short for the second place spot, and then he set his sights on Jamie Hansen. Jamie Hansen, you see, just after the pass was made, a big off-track excursion, hangs onto it, not only keeping it on two wheels, but hangs onto that second place spot. But Scott Short, he saw a chink in the armor, thought there was a chance he could find his way around the 911 machine. Once again, pulls right up alongside the rear tire, but was not quite able to find a way around. As the checker flag came out, it was going to be Arch York taking the win. Jamie Hansen hanging on for the second place position, and Scott Short going to round out the podium. An all-out drag race down to the checkered flag. That's what you want to see, and a great way to kick off today's racing. You know all those fans had fun watching that.
That was a great battle. I enjoyed it from up here. I'm sure up there on Spectator Hill, they're just having a good time up there. It's a party.
Hey, absolutely. A party and a race broke out as Catherine Bukowski and Josh Thompson going to round out the top 5 in your next generation Superbike class. So a huge congratulations to Catherine Bukowski and Josh Thompson as well. We do have our Super Street class coming up next, and we were able to catch up with Bagger Racing League's own Carl Schlacht and talk to him about this weekend and how much fun he's having here at BRL.
We have a number of classes for baggers. It goes from the Andrews Bagger GP. Then you take one more step back, and guess what you're doing? That's right, you're in the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class. But what if you're in the Barnett Super Street? Carl Schlacht is a racer that's competing in this class. Carl, this class is designed to do our best to keep the prices down and the competition up.
It's a great entry-level class. You know, I have a motocross background. I wanted to get into it, but I wasn't going to build some crazy turbo bike with all this stuff. So I picked up a 2017 Street Glide and added some parts to it. Pretty much stock motor, and you know, we're out here racing. I'm feeling real good. The track's a lot of fun, and just pumped to be out here racing.
Tell you what, race fans, if you guys want to find out more about what's going on, go to the BaggerRacingLeague.com and check out all the rules for the Super Street class. The guys from Barnett certainly knew exactly what they were doing when they jumped on board with this class. Carl, best of luck to you.
Thanks, Rob.
Carl Schlacht will be heading out here in the Super Street class with backing from Barnett.
Awesome to hear from Carl. Carl also a member of the BRL crew, taking care of a lot of our social media channels, getting us some great shots. And then, of course, he's also got a great podcast on the BRL YouTube channel as well, catching up with some of the top racers and give you guys a little more of a look inside the helmet as to who's out and who we like cheering for on the weekends out here at the Bagger Racing League. We'll see how Carl's able to do with your Super Street class coming up next, but first, we're going to grab a word from our sponsors. This is the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers live on Racer TV.
Carl Schlacht, and you're watching BRL on Racer TV.
Bridgestone's reintroducing their Supermoto tires here in the United States and Canada. That's the BMO1 front and the RO2 rear. It's available in a 16.5 inch as well as a 17-inch configuration. Battle Axe is a non-DOT tire, and we definitely recommend tire warmer. Time's the only thing in life that money can't buy, but you can buy Bridgestones.
It took my family years to build this dream. I know my land better than anyone else. I don't take chances. I'd hate to imagine how...
Jet Lord still on top. Oh, the podium's here. I don't think any atmosphere can match it. Nothing quite like Pro Motocross.
All right, welcome everybody live here on Racer TV. We're at Gingerman Raceway for round 4 of the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers series. And we've got our Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street Bagger class coming up next. One of the faster classes that we've seen, and one of the classes that has kind of a standout rider that really seems to be at the top of the field right now, Tony. Jake Masters, he's in his sophomore season. He moves up to that Super Street class and really seems to be right at home.
Yeah, Jake has jumped on this bagger this year and just looks like he's been riding them since he was in diapers, right? He just looks like he's just gelling with the motorcycle. He's putting down some very impressive lap times, and he's got a big target on the back of his, leathers, and everybody else is chasing him.
Yeah, absolutely, and impressive to see at rounds 1 and 2, having issues in qualifying, having to line up at the back of the grid when the green flag flew. Within the first 2 or 3 corners, we saw him at the top of the field. Now he's got those problems figured out, and you see him leading on the warm-up lap and leading them on pole position as well. So we saw it yesterday, got a great start, and was able to cement himself in that number 1 position by the end of turn 1. And pretty much ran off with the win yesterday. So we'll see whether or not any of these other riders, Carl Schlacht, obviously, who we heard from a little bit ago, he's in the mix, another rider known for really good starts.
Yeah, Carl has definitely got the starts on lock. He has figured that out, how to get the power to the ground, keep the front wheel down, and drive forward into turn 1. We got Chris Rivas also on the front row with Masters and Schlock. And, it's going to be an all-out drag race into turn 1 here.
Absolutely. Taking a look, that is Jake Masters on the 51 with that Suburban Motors, Harley-Davidson, and Bridgestone back machine. Chris Rivas, he's on that Rocket Performance, Bassani, and SNS cycle back machine. And then Carl Schlacht, who we talked to a little bit earlier as well, he's on that Speed Farm HHI Suburban Motors, Harley-Davidson for your opening start row.
Yeah, behind him we have Sean Hoffman out of the Suburban team. Jason Reeves, Joe Sanderson, Philip Doty, Joey Beavers rounding out our grid here.
So the green flag is up, and the green flag's waving. We're racing here for the Barnett Super Street Bagger class. And look at that, as always, Carl Schlacht getting a great drive from the outside of row 1, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's just that's a perfect example of, you know, why the inside is the preferred line here. Carl had he was out front, had a wheel on everybody, but was just on the outside, and Jake took the inside line and took the lead.
So this is bad news for the rest of the field. You see a quick glance back from the number 51. Masters, the last person that they wanted to see grab the early race lead. Carl hangs on to the second place spot, looks like just in front of Rivas.
Yeah, for sure. Jake's going to, you know, jump out to an early lead. I would expect to see, you know, Carl, Rivas, Sean Hoffman, some of our other podium contenders yesterday really battling out for that second place. They're going to hope for a bobble or mistake from Masters. I think that's going to be their only shot at him today, and we'll see how this shakes out.
So it looks like Schlank just pulling away a little bit in that second place spot. The battle, though, looks like that's Hoffman and Rivas going at it for the final podium position, with one rider just outside looking in, rounding out your top 5. We'll wait to see if we can get a name on that rider as well. And just as we've seen all season long, not anything specific that Jake looks like he's doing better. It's not any kind of trick or secret line, just a little bit better here, a little bit there. Next thing you know, those inches add up, and he's got a lead like what you're seeing right now.
Sure, I mean, a lot of it is in technique, and it's hard to pick up on camera. It's just, you know, can you stay, you know, on the throttle a little deeper into the corners? How early can you get on the throttle coming out of the corners? And, you know, there's so much speed to be made in the corners, you know, how far you can drive into them, how early you can drive out of them. It looks like Rivas on his budget 244 road glide is trying to challenge Carl there. Rivas, another great story, is you know, he was a podium finisher yesterday on a budget build that he built for about $5,000, and look at it, he's just drag racing down the front stretch.
And look at this, Schlack trying to protect. Rivas gets by, Hoffman trying to come along with him. An absolute dogfight right now between Chris Rivas, Carl Schlack, and Sean Hoffman. Hoffman trying to take the long way around. Looks like he's around Schlack. Is he going to be able to get Rivas too?
What a good battle going on, you know, almost for a second there, looked 3 wide around turn 2, you know, really threading the needle. Looks like Sean's going to challenge Chris Rivas as well. You know, Sean, another great story, Harley mechanic for the Suburban Harley-Davidson crew, turned racer this year. This is, you know, last rounds 1 and 2 in Nebraska were his first ever races. And he's just getting faster and faster every time he comes off the track. And
really looks like he has found something here on this Gingerman Raceway, picking up some speed even since yesterday, as he was right on the rear wheel of Rivas. But Tony, we've seen it before. It's one thing to catch up to a rider. It's a whole different ball game trying to find a way around him.
Yeah, and Rivas is going to kind of go into you know, defense mode, kind of ride a wide bike, if you know, they like to say, make it hard to pass. Make him have to really earn it here. So it looks like Rivas is going to protect the insides, and if he's going to make a pass, he's going to have to go around the outside.
And he's trying to find a way to do just that. The swing's a little wide. That's where we saw the off-track excursion earlier. Not quite able to thread the needle and slide up the inside. So a great job there for Rivas from just kind of closing off from the outside and taking that line away from Sean Hoffman. Carl Schlack still back there, but just not quite able to get up in the mix and really show these guys a wheel.
Yeah, Hoffman's he's going to have to really work hard for it, because Rivas is it looks like he's just got everything kind of dialed in. He's entering the corners right where he should be. Hoffman is trying to go inside, and we've seen in a couple of those corners before, he takes the inside. He's going to try and look here, but he just can't quite get up to the side of Rivas and take the inside line.
And you see Hoffman there going a little Ruben Zhao style, kicking that leg off, trying to get some extra drag and slow that 27 machine down. Once again, he peeks to the outside. Looks like he's almost pulling up alongside of him, but Rivas gets such a strong exit as they head into turn 3.
Yeah, you know, when you're out there on the track, you know, you can carry so much more corner speed from the outside in, and when you're trying to go inside like that, you have to start to brake so much earlier, so you just give up that momentum and you can't make it stick. You know, and you can make it work, but can you get the bike stopped and turned in time? And that's the tricky part.
Yeah, it's an absolute give and take right now, as it really looks like Hoffman's able to close up in some of the entrances into these corners, but then Rivas really gets the power to the ground. Oh, gets a little loose at the exit of that corner. Is that going to allow Hoffman to pull up alongside him? Oh, and a big get off.
Off track goes Rivas. Hopefully he's okay.
Wow.
See pieces of the motorcycle there.
So we are going to get the safety crew out there and make sure that Chris Rivas is all right. As we saw, getting loose coming out of that corner, was really charging hard and just got sideways And then after that, he was pretty much along for the ride. And it does look like we've got the red flag coming out, so we're going to bring this race to a halt when we until we can verify Chris is all right. Safety, obviously the top priority out here at Bagger Racing League as the safety vehicles make their way out on track. And, you know, it's one of those things we don't like to talk about when things go wrong, Tony, but unfortunately it's a sad reality of the sport. You can attest to that, obviously coming off an injury yourself. But luckily, we've got great people here on site. We do have the Life EMS and, of course, the rescue guys as well. They're out here. Third party with us. They're specifically out here. They're trained and they're ready to handle situations like these to attend to the riders.
Yeah, for sure. Safety, like you said, is the number one priority out here. That's why they're going to throw this red flag so we can get the emergency vehicles out there and attend to Chris. You know, our thoughts and prayers are you know, all on Chris and his family and his team, and hopefully everything's okay. But safety is number one. We're going to throw a red flag. We'll find out here in a few minutes if they're going to regrid these guys and what the setup will be.
Yeah, so we'll let you guys know as soon as we hear something. We are going to give it a few minutes, let the Life EMS get over to Chris and attend to him to make sure that he is all right. While we do that, we're going to go and get a word from our sponsors. Hear some of the great things that they've got, the great products that they offer. We could not go BRL Racing without them. And then we will come back and let you guys know whether or not we'll be re-racking that Super Street class or whether that will be the end of the race. So we'll get a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be back here to the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers live here on Racer TV. And that is a great sight to see. Chris Rivas back up and walking over to the Life EMS rig. Going to get checked out by the staff there and make sure everything is absolutely tip-top shape. Let's show you guys exactly what happened. So Chris Rivas in a battle. You see him. He will be on the right side of your screen. He pulls. He gets side by side. Yeah, take us through this from your perspective, Tony.
To me, it looked like he could feel and sense Hoffman on the outside there. He was trying to beat him to the preferred line there, and just got a little too hot. And that's that fine line. Like I said, you can come in too hot. You try and beat the guy to the corner. And, you know, like I say, you try and find the limit before the limit finds you, and I think in that case it found him. And fortunately, he's up and moving under his own power, you know, and that's great to see. I really like Chris. He's a great guy. He's been a good friend through the racing, and it's unfortunate, but I'm glad to see him upright.
Yeah, it does look like he's up and moving under his own power. Like we said, getting checked out there by Life EMS here on screen, and getting the bike loaded up and headed back off towards the pits. And that's the heartbreaking side of BRL. Obviously, nobody likes going down. We're obviously first and foremost concerned with how Chris is doing, but it's never good to see a machine take a beating like that as well.
Yeah, and if I know Chris at all, he's not worried about himself at this moment. He's upright, he's good, everything's intact, and he wants to know the condition of his motorcycle. You know, he's a motorcycle junkie. You know, he builds this stuff himself, and I guarantee he's sitting in the back of the ambulance wondering the condition of his motorcycle right now.
Absolutely. So we're still waiting to hear exactly whether we will be restarting the Super Street class or whether we will be ending that race as they were on the last scored lap. So as soon as we know something, we'll let you guys know. Yeah, like we said, safety top priority. We have the great folks out here like the rescue guys, like Life EMS. And then, of course, always the safety before the green flag even drops is top notch as well. We talked about it before. These bikes, they have to go through spec. They have to meet certain protocol. But then the leathers that these riders are wearing, the helmets that these riders are wearing, they all have to be verified and meet certain criteria as well to verify that if things go wrong, like what we just saw for Chris there, his safety equipment was able to do what it needs and keep him safe.
And that's a perfect example of why we have tech. Obviously, we want the motorcycles to be safe, but you know, when in the tech garage, when they're looking at helmets, they're looking at leathers, they're looking at gloves, they're looking at boots. You know, they're looking at all that stuff so that it can do its job in this circumstance. And fortunately, it all worked and did its job for Chris. So we see the fans there just kind of taking a break, waiting to find out. We're still trying to get the official word here on how they're going to continue. Are they going to re-rack this Super Street class, or are we going to conclude it and call it as it stood? We have not gotten official word yet.
So taking a look now, as you can see, the riders have got their machines up on stands. They've got tire warmers on, and everybody just patiently awaiting the word from Rob Bidas or whoever's going to make that call. Going to find out exactly how far into the race we were. And, yeah, we saw those fans over on Spectator Hill. They're probably asking what happened. That's one of the only sections that I think you can't see standing on that side of Spectator Hill. So they definitely missed out on a wild ride there from Chris Rivas. Honestly, very glad to see him up and moving under his own power. But that was a pretty spectacular crash.
That one was pretty wild, man. It, you know, he went down, you know, in a bad spot. Fortunately, there was a lot of runoff area. That's the other thing that, you know, part of the safety that goes into the track design is there's plenty of runoff area so that in the chance that you do go down, you know, there's not a guardrail or a tree or a wall that you hit. You know, there was plenty of area there for Chris to kind of slide, slow down, and not hit anything and impact and you know, hurt, you know, break a leg or anything, or even worse. So, you know, that goes back to the whole safety thing. Lots of runoff in the track is key as well.
So we'll give you an idea of exactly how the race was going down. We are continuing to wait to find out whether the race is officially concluded or whether they will re-rack them. Jake Masters on that 51 gets off to an early lead, really executing the start just like he needed. Carl Schlag putting up a great fight, getting a great jump from the outside, but not quite close enough to be able to close off and grab the lead. You can see it was Sean Hoffman really applying the pressure early on. As we see Rivas making the move past Schlag, and Sean Hoffman was right there stalking early.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, the whole race, Chris looked like he was on point. He was, you know, didn't look like there was any issues going on. He looked in control. He was hitting his marks, you know, making it hard for Hoffman to make the pass. And just got caught off guard. And adrenaline took over. He drove a little too hard into the corner and found the limit. Unfortunately, went off track.
So we did just get word here from race control. So it does sound like the riders had completed one lap. And so we will return to racing, but we will do a 5-lap race. So we're going to re-rack them. We'll throw the green flag, but it will be a 5-lap race So putting away that time that we had already made up, and it sounds like they're going to be gridding them based off of the positions they were in on that last recorded lap. So our track director headed down to get them lined up and let the teams know to take the bikes off the stand and get ready to go racing.
I think that's the right call. I think that's fair. Grid everybody on where they were sitting in the track and let them race it out. I think that's the right call from the race director. Let them do their job. Let them go out there and race and continue to battle, and we'll see how this stacks up.
I tell you what I'm excited to see, Tony, is what the number 27 machine is able to do this close to Masters early. We saw Hoffman. It didn't look like he got the best of starts. He was trying to make some moves, but it took him a little bit of time to find his way past the number 8 of Schlacht, and then, of course, with Rivas as well. So we'll see if all he's got to face, he's going to line up right next to Jake Masters, if he can try to maybe get out in front of him off of turn 1, or if not, at least sink his hooks into the back of him and take this all the way to the finish.
For sure. I mean, at minimum, it will be a great opportunity for Hoffman to kind of try and get at least on the back tire and maybe learn a few things from Masters and, maybe battle it with him. You got to take each time you hit the track as an opportunity to learn and get better, and this will be a perfect time for Hoffman to do that.
You can see Masters checking out his machine. Looks like these guys will get a warm-up lap as well before they line up on the grid. So riders all taking a look. Looks like they're discussing exactly where they're lining up so everybody knows where to go on the grid.
Yeah, and this gets a little chaotic. This can be chaotic for a rider. I've been in situations like this, and you just have to remember to, stay in the game, stay in the zone, keep your head in the game. This can really kind of throw a wrench. We'll see if this affects Masters at all. Will he go right back out and stay in form, take the lead, or will it kind of rock his nerves a little bit? We'll see how it affects Hoffman. And kind of this chaoticness down in the pits of are we racking back up? Are we going back out? What are we doing? The team's this and that. It can shake some guys. Some guys can handle it. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see for sure. Like we said, the BRL, it's a racing family. So these riders, obviously, they don't like to see anybody hit the deck. All smiles and handshakes and high fives after the checkered flag. But everybody obviously knowing Chris doing successful or having success yesterday in racing. So I think without a doubt, especially for somebody like Hoffman or Masters or even Schlacht, who was behind, got a front row view of what happened. You're totally right. It could mess with them mentally, maybe make them not want to push quite as hard, and we'll be interested to see what that man right there, the 27 of Sean Hoffman, is able to do. Will he be able to get up and battle it out with Jake Masters?
And Sean being a new racer, like we talked about early in the race, where he's kind of a Harley technician turned racer. He's early into his racing career here. Kind of side by side with there, battling with Chris when he went off track. I hope it doesn't have an effect on him. I hope Sean can go back out there, get on the back wheel of Masters, and maybe have a good battle with him.
Yeah, going to be exciting to see for sure. Obviously, the sense of urgency going to be at an all-time high. The riders, like we said, 1 lap complete. Riders going to pick up with 5 laps to go, so shorter than the 7-lap race that they were already running. And so it's pretty much as soon as that green flag drops, you got to make some stuff happen.
For sure. While we're waiting for these guys to grid, one thing I want to talk about is this Super Street Bagger class. It is new to the BRL this year. It was a class that was designed to make it easy to get into bagger racing. You can take your stock motorcycle and with very little modifications come out here and race. You're going to see some guys out here, towards the back of the pack, Philip Doty, Jason Reeves, Joey Beavers. They're early into their career. They're trying this out. They're the dudes that last year were probably watching this on YouTube and said, I want to go out there and race. So they did some minor modifications to their motorcycle. They've come out here. They're learning. Each time they hit the track, I've seen, like Philip Doty, he's picked up speed every time he's gone out there, and he can continue to progress year over year if he wants to continue and maybe step up to pro stock and eventually maybe GP. But the Super Street is the entry-level kind of class. If you want to come out and race with us, any one of those bikes sitting on Spectator Hill could be lining up on the grid next year or even next round.
We talked about it. That fan lap, I think it plants the seed for a lot of these riders, gets that bug, and I tell you what else has been fun to watch. We talk about the event side of it, not just the bagger racing. We've got a full full weekend of festivities. What is a racing weekend without some good old-fashioned pit bike racing? Tony, it was an all-out throwdown. Everybody putting all that they had on the mini bikes.
Oh, it was such a good time last night, and it's awesome to see, you know, industry leaders, dealership owners, Rob Bidos there on screen. I mean, Rob was probably having the most fun of all, you know, out there on the pit bikes, just banging bars, having fun, and it was great. Just blow off some steam and have a good time.
Yeah, everybody smiles, everybody laughing, having a good fun. But I tell you what, you guys put the helmet on and things got serious in a hurry. And as you can see, Rob Bidas, no slouch on the bike either, as he was able to put up a good fight. He was battling for the lead up there, at least for those first couple of laps.
For sure. Who knew Rob could, you know, spin laps like that? We should put him out on the grid.
Yeah, no kidding. Get that guy on a bagger for sure. And our very own Tony Tucker, maybe say this a little quieter, mixed out there, had a little bit of fun.
I snuck out there. I got yelled at by the wife. I shouldn't have been out there with my leg, but I had to spin a few laps.
Yeah, the peer pressure was real. I saw it firsthand, okay? So I'll give you a pass on that one. But having a good time, and that's what it's all about. The evening festivities out here, we had live music going on, great food. Obviously, like we said, I would call this the entertainment as much as the live music goes. And so always great to see how much fun you can have. You see, we had the onboard UTV camera. Look at that, picking it up on one wheel. Rocket Rob getting the job done. And always such a great time out here at the Bagger Racing League. If you guys haven't already, make sure you're following us on Instagram. That's at Bagger Racing League. And then go to baggerracingleague.com. Find out where the next events are near you. We've got a action-packed summer planned with a lot of different rides up at Mid-Ohio. We're going to be going to the first international BRL event up in Canada. That one's going to be super exciting as well. And then be out at Willow Springs in November for the final 2 rounds out in California.
Yeah, it's an exciting summer. I think it's great that we're going across country lines into Canada. You know, the original Garage Moto team has kind of set this up. They are from Canada. They want to race on home soil, so they asked BRL to come north and put on a race. So we're heading north across the border, and it's going to be a show. It
is going to be exciting to see for sure, and I know a lot of the riders are extremely excited about it as well, as they've got a lot of passion about the BRL, obviously inviting anybody and everybody that has interest in it to come out and race and really be able to mix it up. We've obviously got an international appeal to a lot of different people. We've got riders from all over the globe coming and getting into the mix, and it seems like we've even got more in the coming years that are talking about how interested they are and how much fun it looks like BRL is. It looks like we are getting your Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street Baggers class off and rolling as they're going to go back out on their warm-up lap. And this is kind of that lock-in time for them, Tony. Obviously, like you said, a lot going through the head. Nobody likes to see a rider go down. You got to sit there, you cool off, you're just kind of, you don't know what the future is going to bring. Then all of a sudden somebody says, go, 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 warm-up lap, and you got to get right back into race mode.
Yep, kind of got to just blink, forget everything that's happened up to this point, get your mind back in the game, focus on the task at hand, and use this siding lap as that opportunity. Get loose, remember to breathe, get comfortable, and get ready for the green flag and go back to racing and just move forward. So these guys are going to do that now on the siding lap. We'll get them around and get them gridded, and another green flag underway.
And it's a tale of two tapes. Obviously, if you're our front 2 riders, Jake Masters, it's just go out and do exactly what I just did the last time. Get that start and start to pull away from there. But if you're somebody like Sean Hoffman on that 27, you had a good run going. You had already picked off the 2 riders in front of you. Now you're lining up right on the rear wheel of Masters. You think this, in his head, is an opportunity to strike and maybe fight for the win?
I think it definitely is the opportunity to do so. If he can execute it, I mean, that's why we go out and race, right? We can race on paper all day long, but until the green flag flies, you got to go out and execute, make it happen, and hopefully Hoffman will battle for the lead there.
Well, we will find out here shortly, as they are just a little past halfway on their warm-up lap, obviously taking a look at where they want to go, maybe trying to pick out that sweet spot they want to make a pass. We've got it's kind of the same thing that we saw out in Nebraska. Really got a couple of corners where it seems like a lot of the passing happening. Obviously 5 and 6, that double apex, and then I believe it's turn 10, that's actually just a little bit off-cambered. One of those things where you can't quite pick it up on the camera, but you know as well as anybody, even a few degrees off camber really changes the way you've got to approach a corner.
It's a technical corner that you have to really be on target. You have to be on line. If you're offline, if you go in a little too fast, that off camber is going to just exaggerate that problem. So yeah, turn 10 is a really tricky one because of that off camberness. And you know, Hoffman here, you know, it's kind of in his benefit here. He was starting second row at the start of the race. He's going to be on the front row, so a little bit of an advantage for Hoffman here, and hopefully he can capitalize on that.
So just to give you a rundown, maybe if you're just joining us, this is the Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street Bagger class relining up after Chris Rivas going down just a little bit ago, and we want to give you a shout out. Chris, we're glad to see that you're okay and up and moving around, and hopefully that Rocket Performance Garage, Bassani, and SNS cycled back machine isn't too beat up and we can see you back racing soon.
Yeah. All the best to Chris. Hopefully he's all right. He was up and moving. I'm sure he's a little upset with himself, but it looks like we're ready for a green flag here.
So here it is, the red flag moving out of the way. The green flag is up in the air, and we are racing once again for the Barnett Super Street Bagger class. A solid drive once again from the second row. Carl Schlack trying to get up in the mix. We'll see them come into turn one, and once again, Masters grabs the early race lead.
Yeah, Masters just, you know, doing what he does, just getting out front early and checking out. Carl with a great start. He, you know, man, he's got those starts dialed from the back row up to second place, or second row, I should say. And Hoffman's going to try and make easy work of him here into turn, is this turn 2?
I believe this is turn 3 now. They just crested over the hill as Hoffman able to run up the inside. They head through turn 4, not near as steep of a corner, able to really keep that speed up. And then there's that double apex 5 and 6. As Carl Schlack now finds himself in the third place spot. We'll see if he's able to hang on to Hoffman, and maybe they can reel back in Jake Masters. But already you see Masters starting to put distance between himself and everybody else.
I saw him looking down at the motorcycle a little bit there. I don't know if that means there's a mechanical or if he's just trying to get comfortable. I'm not sure what's going on there. We'll keep an eye out. Looks like Hoffman in second. Carl trying to stay in tow. You know, throw a rope around Hoffman and keep him close.
And like we said, that's why you never give up out here. Mechanicals do happen. We've had crashes happen, obviously, as well. So we'll see whether something's going on with Masters or not. He still looks to be rolling at a fair rate of speed right now. So these are probably the two closest riders on courses. Carl really trying to hang on to Hoffman. It seems like he's got that jump out at the gate, but then the following laps, it just seems like he's not able to find his way back around on the number 8 machine as the 27 stretches it out just a little bit, heading down the straight into turn number 11.
Yeah, I think Carl, you know, has got to just stick on the back wheel of Hoffman here. He doesn't want to let him get too far away. You know, Carl's got some horsepower into that bike. He can stick with him in the straights. I think he gives up a little bit in the corners here. See if he can learn a thing or two from Hoffman and just maybe make a last lap battle with Hoffman here.
Well, they are still perfectly within striking distance. Only a couple of bike lanes separate the two of them. As you see at the top of the hill, Jake Masters getting ready to crest over that lip. And even a couple of feet of elevation difference. It really is crazy how much you feel it when you're out on the bike, especially when you go from wide open, accelerating to as hard on the brakes as you possibly can.
Yeah, blind corners are one of the most tricky parts of the track. You have to really trust braking points at that moment. You know, you have to have a good point in the track. You know, some of these corners have braking markers. So, you know, you got to use those to your full advantage. And, you know, it's one thing to talk about it, but when you're out there on the track, you know, staying at wide open throttle, knowing that there's a 90-degree or 180-degree turn on the other side of the hill, it's very unnerving, and it's what separates these guys out here. It's where all the time is either given up or made, and these blind, you know, just subtle elevation changes are very challenging.
Well, and that's what separates these riders as some of the best in the country when it comes to bagger racing. Like you said, kind of maybe a little less experience here in this Pro Stock or in this Super Street class than some of the Pro Stock and GP classes, really getting more accustomed to those baggers before they head into those Premier 2 classes. But Masters, he is really seeming to hit his stride, just seemed perfectly at home on that 51 machine, and wouldn't be surprised to see him be competitive up in those Pro Stock and GP classes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, just looking at some lap times this morning, Jake was running lap times that would be very competitive in the Pro Stock class. So I think it'd be a natural step for him to move up to pro stock for next season. Everything appears as though they've got a lot figured out with the motorcycle. Jake is, working well with the machine. He's feeling comfortable, and so I think that jump would make sense. I know the Suburban team, they like to have a bike in each class, so that, there might be a seat open on their team for a new rider to come in and race Super Street with them. And we'll see what happens, during the off season, as it looks like Masters might be making the jump up.
And it looks like Masters trying to run away with this thing as he continues to stretch the lead out. We're watching Sean Hoffman on camera head into turn number 5 with Carl Schlack chasing him down, holding down that final podium spot here in the Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street class. Joe Sanderson and Jason Reeves rounding out your top 5. And so some riders maybe benefiting a little bit from that restart we talk about. Kind of closes the gap back up, makes those distances up for you. Reeves, I do not believe, was in the top 5 earlier. He's on that Williams Body Shop back 187 machine, and now he finds himself holding down the final spot inside the top 5.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest benefactors is Carl. Carl is going to finish. As of right now, he's got a podium spot. He was sitting 4th before, and I know as a racer, you always hate to, win or, take a podium because someone crashed out, but that's part of racing, You got to be able to finish the race, and, it's a podium is still a podium, and Carl will be happy to be up on the box today.
Absolutely, and for those of you, maybe if it's your first time joining us at BRL, we will be doing those podium celebrations following the last race of the day, so we will have our Bagger GP and our Pro Stock class as the first podium. So we will do the last race as the first podium, and then we'll run through the rest of the field. So you guys be sure to stick around after that final checker flag. So nice talking to the riders and really finding out their perspective and their thoughts on the weekend. Jake Masters usually got a big smile and just talking about how good it feels to put that 51 machine at the top. He's looking to be not only holding up a #1 plate, but the weekend championship belt. Like we said, a doubleheader weekend here for rounds 3 and 4. And Masters looking to try to keep the winning streak alive and go 4 for 4 here in that Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street Bagger class.
Yeah, trying to cement himself in the record books, going undefeated here. Early in the Bagger Racing League, life. We've got 3-4 seasons under our belt, but Jake, big part of it, BRL, and very competitive and going undefeated so far this year.
And Jake, one of those riders, obviously coming from Australia, so he's one of our international pool as well. But we talk about the different types of riders. We've got Carl Schlack, perfect example, pro supercross and motocross racer. Jake, a little bit of a jack of all trades, if you will. The guy's jumping off freestyle ramps. He's doing stunts on Harleys, and obviously he knows how to get those things going fast as well. So just shows how many different kinds of riders find success and find enjoyment racing in the Bagger Racing League.
Yeah, for sure, and we're seeing a melting pot of that here in the Super Street class. With our top 3 all coming from different disciplines, and battling for podiums out there on a BRL course.
Absolutely, as the white flag waves, 1 lap left to go for the 51 of Jake Masters here in the Barnett Super Street Bagger class. Really just going to try to focus, not throw it down. He doesn't have to set any track lap time records here on this final lap. He's worked it up. You see him taking a little look over the shoulder, seeing where everybody else is at, and that's kind of the sign of letting up just a little bit. You see the body straighten up. He sits up a little bit. Going to just enjoy this final lap.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of just got it in cruise control right now. Just bring it home. He's got a sizable lead over Sean, and just going to enjoy the moment, soak it in, and walk away from the weekend with another 1-1. He'll be taking home one of them belts again.
Absolutely.
And I'm kind of jealous. I want one of those belts.
Add it to the collection.
So yeah, white flag. He's just he's not in the attack position anymore. Just cruising around, maintaining that lead, and going to bring home the win.
So Masters certainly deserved here, as he had 2 chances to show, right? We restacked him. We took away the lead he had built up at first following the wreck there from Rivas. Made sure Chris was okay, and then once we got that cleaned up, Jake was like, okay, I'll do it again if I have to. Grab that start, and I think that was really crucial. I'd be curious to see, not saying that it wouldn't have happened, but very curious to see what it would have been like if Sean or even Carl would have been able to get around him in that first turn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, knowing Jake, he's got the speed, he's got the talent, the bike's working well. It would have been fun to see him battle with him, but Jake is not having any of that business. He's just going to check out and do his job.
And doing his job is exactly what he did here, only a couple of corners away. And there it is, folks, the 51 of Jake Masters going to grab the win and be the champion of the weekend in your Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street Bagger class. The fans going crazy, waving to him on his cool-down lap here. I think he is slowly but surely starting to cement himself as one of the fan favorites out here. He's hanging out with everybody at the pit party, and really just seems like one of those riders that embodies how much fun is behind BRL.
He truly is. Talking with him down in the pits, I mean, he's just everybody wants to have an Australian friend, right?
Hey,
so he's
absolutely.
just everybody's buddy. But he really is. He loves having a good time. He's a super relaxed and enjoyable person to be around. He's just, super chill and fun. But when he gets out there on the track, he is an absolute killer.
Absolutely, yeah. The Australians taking over as Jake Masters taking over this Super Street class. Following that early race crash, we relined them up, and Jake Masters was once again able to put himself in the lead right in turn number 1. And that was huge as he let Carl Schlack and Sean Hoffman fight over second place. Carl doing a great job putting up a fight, and like you said, Tony, maybe taking some notes, learning a couple of things from Hoffman as he hangs on for third.
Yeah, it was a good ride for Carl. He's got to be happy with that. I think Carl, him and his dad are working real hard on that motorcycle, trying to develop it. They're off-road, supercross guys, and they got a lot to learn here because this is a very different discipline. But those guys are putting in the work, and they're making forward, and there's progression in their program, and that's all you can ask for. And I'm sure he'll be battling up front, in some very, some rounds, quickly coming up.
Absolutely, yeah. You can see the improvement already, and just goes to show whether these riders are new to the sport, whether they're established professionals in different disciplines. There's a lot to learn when it comes to Bagger Racing League racing, and Masters really trying to make himself a master of it. No pun intended, because, wow, what a performance dominating that Barnett Super Street Bagger class. Now you've got the post-race breakdown. The fans all chatting, oh, man, Jake looked pretty impressive there, I tell you what.
I'm sure a lot of them are fans of Jake. Jake's like we talked, he's a very personable dude, and quickly becoming a fan favorite up there. Spectator Hill, that's such a cool, so I want to go sit over there. You can see the tower that we're sitting in across the shot there. We can't see much of the track from here. Everybody's sitting up on the hill. They can see pretty much all of it. I'm a little jealous. I want to be on the hill.
Absolutely, yeah. That seems to be the place to be. Riders and fans coming over here, enjoying the great concessions that we have on site here at Gingerman Raceway, and then heading over to find their favorite spot and catch the action. And they got plenty of it with that Barnett Super Street class. As the riders making their way around on that cool-down lap following the checkered flag. Going to pull back into pit lane as we get ready to drop the flag on the next race. But once again, in the Super Street class, it was Jake Masters getting the job done, handling business no matter what we threw at him, even after a red flag. He grabs the whole shot once again and holds on for the win. We're going to get a word from our sponsors before we drop the green flag on this next class. Thank you all for watching live on Racer TV. This is the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers.
I'm Jake Masters. You're watching BRL on Racer TV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RacerTV.com. We're live here in South Haven, Michigan at Gingerman Raceway for round number 4 of the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers. Once again, if you're new to us here, maybe on Racer TV, we were excited to announce the partnership between the Bagger Racing League and Racer TV. I believe it was just about a week ago, and we are extremely proud and excited to bring the world of the BRL to the folks at home on Racer TV. I know we've got a lot of the GNCC Racing Nation hopefully tuning in, and I know a lot of the motocross fans there getting ready for the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National coming up at the end of the month as well. But right now it is all Bagger Racing League, and we are getting ready to go racing with our middleweight Superbike and our lightweight Superbike class. Got several different riders out there, but I tell you what, Tony, we've got some great battles in store. We've seen it already throughout the weekend. Scott Short, Brett Folkerts, Jamie Hansen, Arch York, and Sidney Gard all have shown what they're capable of, and they all want to get on that top step of the podium.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great race. Arch coming off the win in the next-gen class earlier today. I know Brett's looking to challenge out there on his Ninja 400. He's got it dialed in, and it looks like he's already making short work of it leading into turn 2.
Yeah, Brett Folkerts absolutely flying out of the gate on that number 31 machine, sponsored by Leroy Enterprises, Sensei Racing, and Motorcycle Supply. He's out front, and this is another one of those guys, the last thing you want to do is give him clean air early in the race.
Yeah, for sure. Brett is an amazing rider. He's got a lot of skills and can do a lot on the motorcycles. We could see Scott and Arch here battling for second position. I think they need to stay focused on the leader and not let him get too big of a lead, and so they can still challenge for the lead here.
Yeah, absolutely. The riders you're seeing on screen, all a part of that lightweight Superbike class. Scott Short, another rider, really solid off the start, but he's got to find a way to stay up there. He's been kind of the tail of the tape for Scott. He gets up front early and ends up getting pushed back by the end of the race. Arch York, you can see already chomping at the bit to find a way around.
Arch is probably still riding high from that win earlier today and feeling good. I think they got to just push forward and keep Brett in sight and not let him check out. I mean, right now he's still within striking distance. They can still make some moves for the lead, but they can't let Brett get too far out. You see Arch getting in that classic tuck position, trying to get out of the air there and maybe use a little bit of draft down the straightaway. They still have Brett in sight, so they got to just keep marching forward.
Yeah, we see this in pretty much all forms of racing. A lot of times when two riders get locked into a battle, they're playing offense and defense, and they end up losing touch with the riders in front of them. And so, like you said, Scott and Arch, they can't really get too caught up in this battle if they want a chance to catch up to Brett at the front.
Yeah, they need to realize that they can work together, or they can work against each other, and if they want to battle for the lead, they got to work together and march forward and not try and slow themselves down. You can see Arch already looking, inside, outside. He's going to try and dive underneath here under Scott. But this is the stuff that will slow them down, obviously. They riding defensive is going to slow you down. Arch is, making hand gestures back there to Scott. I'm sure Scott will like that.
Yeah, it would look like maybe Arch saying, kind of throwing the hand up. Looks like he maybe ran Scott just a little wide in that corner, but nonetheless will be interested to see whether Scott's able to respond and catch back up to the KTM Supermoto. We take a look at the top of your screen. We've got a top 5 rundown. Brett Folkerts out front leading the way with now Arch York in the second place spot. Scott Short holding down third with Jamie Hansen and Sidney Gard rounding out your top 5. Jamie Hansen, a name we're extremely glad to see back out there. He had that off-track excursion. He didn't go down, but that it scares you nonetheless. Even though you may not be in physical pain, not surprised to see Jamie maybe not pushing the envelope quite as much here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm really surprised from what I saw on camera from Jamie earlier in that round when he went off into the grass. That bike was swapping back and forth. I thought for sure he was going to go down. He saved it. And definitely, bet it got his heart rate up.
Without a doubt, he's probably just now getting back sub 100 as Hansen holds down that 4th place position. Scott Short is responding a little bit. Looks like he has caught back up to Arch York. But we'll see whether or not he's able to actually put something together and make a pass. York able to kind of maintain the gap coming down that last straightaway.
Yeah, like we saw in the earlier race, Arch found some speed overnight. And, we can see if he can use that now that he's got some clean air out in front of Scott, maybe try and track down Brett. and chase him down in that battle for the lead here. Looks like Brett's just kind of starting to stretch that out quite a bit. So Arch just has to kind of keep eyes forward, forget about Scott behind him, and just try and increase that gap.
Yeah, watching Folkerts come by the screen there, just hitting his marks, doing what he wants to do, really seems comfortable, and he's not under any kind of pressure from anybody where he's got to ride defensively at all, protect any lines. Arch York, you got to think he's still kind of, hey, I don't want to leave this door open too much. Scott's right back there, and if he gets a good drive, he could try to put a wheel on the inside of me and get back around. So we'll see whether or not these two stretch out at all. Scott doing a great job of keeping Arch just in front of him, but he's going to need a little more if he wants that second place position back.
Yeah. This is like we talk all the time, the kind of the middle part of the race here. You just kind of have to kind of pace yourself. This is a sprint, but you can't gas yourself out. You don't want to push too hard. As we see here, here's Scott trying to make get aggressive here, try and get back into the battle and mix things up. And maybe Arch from the earlier race is a little fatigued. Maybe he just doesn't have the fitness. I'm not sure, but Scott's going to make the charge and try and take over second place.
Man, that was a great drive. Short got out of the corner, led him right back up to the rear wheel of Arch York. We got a great look here on our drone as Short closes the gap back up. He's within a bike length now of Arch York. They head into the corner. Scott not afraid to take the long way around. They'll head back down the straight into turn number 3, back up the hill.
We'll see how Arch responds. I'm not sure if what happened with Arch, if he, kind of made a bobble, got offline or something, let Scott kind of inch back up. Let's see if Arch responds and kind of stretch out that lead again.
Yeah, and that's all it takes, a simple mistake on the entry of a corner, maybe the back end step out just a little bit, exiting a corner, and the rider behind you is right back on your rear wheel. So we'll see whether Arch is able to keep things picture perfect and hang on to the second place spot. It is still Brett Folkerts out front leading the way, just in front of the battle you're seeing on screen. Scott running just a little tighter of a line.
Yeah, it's unfortunate Brett's so far out front. He doesn't get the TV time. Obviously, his motorcycle supply, Leroy Enterprises, Sensei Racing Motorcycle, is doing everything it should. He's going to have to slow down if he wants a little TV time.
Absolutely. He's going to have to thank him twice on the podium interviews, because he is handling business at the front of the field right now. But we cannot pull away from this battle. Look at this. The riders still within a bike length of one another. Scott really tucking in, trying to draft off of the back of Arch.
Yeah, this is a good battle. Arch is holding his own. Every time Scott inches up, Arch seems to find a little bit more and can just gap him. You can see there he's pulling away. Obviously the horsepower is fairly similar right there. Nobody's really pulling away real hard from one or the other. Arch is really quick. That Supermoto, super nimble, super lightweight. Arch can really just command that motorcycle wherever he wants it to be on the track at any given point. He can ride defensive if need be, but it looks like he's also able to pull away from Scott a little bit in a few of those sections. So this is a good battle. Brett's still out front. Arch, Scott, kind of just chalking it up here. We have Jamie Hansen still in 4th. Sydney Gard sitting back in that 5th place position. And as this battle continues, nearing the end, we should be seeing white flag here before too long. We'll see if Scott can capitalize and make a pass.
So GNCC Racing Nation, I'm calling you out. You like your KTMs? Well, you can throw those things out here at BRL and go racing too. Make a whole supermoto class, I bet, if we need to. We get enough of you guys out here.
Wouldn't that be a sight?
I'd put my money on Arch, man. He has got that thing absolutely dialed in right now.
Yeah, he's got it figured out. Him and his dad have got that KTM dialed in and working well. Arch is feeling good and moving forward.
Absolutely. So Arch leading the charge there for that underground team racing, backed by Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska 811. So as they like to say, make sure you call before you dig, and they're digging right now out on track, trying to hang on to a second place finish.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Is Scott just kind of waiting for the right opportunity to make the pass and just kind of being patient right now? Or, is he riding the limit just to try and stick with Arch? As we get close to the end of the race, we'll see, kind of what the strategy is here for Scott, and whether he's just being patient or if he's going to gas out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as they head back off into turn number 1. Really looks like they're both pushing the pace. giving it everything they've got. Thought they might be seeing a white flag there, but I think maybe one or two laps left to go.
Yeah, it looks like 2 to go, so they should get the white flag next time around here. Another great battle out here. Arch and Scott, a couple of guys that are starting to become recognizable out here, in these new classes to BRL. We're just getting to know some of these Superbike guys, and Arch and Scott are a couple of them that are, always at the top of the pack, and it's good to see and get to know these racers as they've joined our program. Looks like they're going to have to deal with some lap traffic. Arch had an issue with lappers yesterday. Hopefully that doesn't throw him offline too bad. Looks like they both got around him fairly easily and can continue to battle.
Yeah, definitely looked like Arch maybe had to check up just a little bit, but Scott was not in a position to really be able to capitalize. He's still
closed it up though a little bit. I think Scott is right there. So as we watch this battle, I think they're heading down the back stretch now. And should be taking a white flag. So it's going to be one lap. This is the last lap to make it happen for Short. See if he can find a way to pass him, make it stick, and bring home the second place. Brett Folkert's obviously still way out front, and we'll see who can bring home second and third here.
So there you saw Folkert's taking the white flag, 1 lap to go for him. There is the battle on hand right now for second place. Arch York's got the position. Scott Short only a bike length or 2 behind. There on screen you see your leader, Brett Folkert's. He's just trying to bring things home, out on a Sunday cruise right now, doing exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he's got a sizable lead. This battle behind him is where all the action is. Arch and Scott still going back and forth, and it's now or never for Scott.
Yeah, the time is running out here for Scott. Is he going to be able to find an opportunity? I don't really know where I'd see a door opening up without a mistake from Arch.
Yeah, that's just it. I haven't really seen Scott really kind of looking inside outside, so it looks as though he's just been trying to hang with Arch. I don't think he's got a good opportunity to make a pass. At least he hasn't shown his cards as of yet. So maybe he'll pull one out here. He's been fooling all of us, but it looks like Arch might have it under control here.
So Arch York trying to hang on for second place, as Folkert's leading the way in that lightweight Superbike class. We do want to mention that Jamie Hansen holding on to the number 1 spot right now in that middleweight Superbike class, the DP Brakes LM2 Racing Michelin-backed machine as well. So Jamie, we talked about having that off-track excursion a little earlier today. And he's trying to put the pieces together right now and respond with a win. As here we see your leader physically on track, and the winner in your lightweight Superbike class coming across the line, it's going to be the 31 of Brett Folkert's grabbing the win. Let's see, it's a drag race all the way to the finish line. Who's it going to be? Arch York going to hang on for the second place spot, with Scott Short rounding out the podium in your lightweight Superbike class. So a tremendous effort from both of those riders, and a congratulations to your top 3. We'll wait to see as they come across the line physically whether Hansen will hang on to the 4th place position, and Sidney Gard was rounding out the top 5.
What a fun race. Arch and Scott putting on a show back and forth, keeping it interesting, making it fun, just out there back and forth with your buddies.
Look at the start there from Folkerts. Just an absolute rocket ship right out of the grid, and already had 2 bike lanes headed into turn 1.
Yeah, Folkerts has got a really good program. He's got, he runs 2 different bikes in 2 different classes out here. It seems as though his program, he's got a lot of things figured out and riding really well this weekend. And hats off to him. He made it look easy, got out front early, just checked out and left the battles behind him. You can see here Arch and Scott battling back and forth all race. Scott tried to just stay in tow. You see Arch kind of waving behind him to Scott, like, see you later, buddy. I'm taking second place, and it was all Arch from here on out.
Yeah, and that was not without challenge, though. Scott did a great job. We saw several times he was able to get back within a bike length, even less, and almost pull up alongside Arch York. But Arch, it's kind of one of those things where he was just fast enough to where Scott needed to be significantly faster to really find a way around him. Every time Scott was able to show him a wheel, he closed the door off and was able to keep that KTM a fender in front of Short for the remainder of the race.
Yeah, great race for both of these guys. Sitting on a podium finish, they should be proud. Go home from this weekend knowing that they had a ton of fun, taking home some hardware. That makes for a good weekend.
Oh, absolutely. And you know these guys are probably already chopping it up here on pit lane, and they're always having a good time talking about it out on the podium as well. So whether you grab the win or not, obviously all of these racers trying their best, as you see Folkerts making his way through the final corner. But at the end of the day, they're having a great time out here at the Bagger Racing League. But it's hard to have a better time than doing just that, bringing home the checkered flag and grabbing the win. Brett Folkerts handling business in your lightweight Superbike class. And like we said, that battle between York and Scott going all the way down to the finish line. So now taking a look at your top 5 as they came across the line, it was Folkerts leading the way and grabbing the win. Arch York in the second place spot with Scott Short, Jamie Hansen, and Sidney Gard rounding out the top 5. Therefore, your lightweight and middleweight Superbike classes. So like we talked about, the new metrics really providing a whole different level of excitement for the Bagger Racing League. And we're going to have plenty more of that racing action coming up here in just a minute. But first, we're going to grab a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back to round 4 of the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers.
Bridgestone's reintroducing their Supermoto tires here in the United States and Canada. That's the BMO1 front and the RO2 rear. It's available in a 16.5 inch as well as a 17-inch configuration. Battle Axe is a non-DOT tire, and we definitely recommend tire warmer. Time's the only thing in life that money can't buy, but you can buy Bridgestones.
Minutes and 2 laps. Let's go racing. Full contact. Look at that lead. Down to the inside. Jet Lord still on top. Oh, the podium's here. I don't think any atmosphere can match it. Nothing quite like Pro Motocross.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers live on Racer TV. You can see a huge group of fans turning out today to catch day 2 of the racing action of round 3 and 4 for the 2024 season. Zach Herron here alongside Tony Tucker inside the Tucker Speed Studio. And Tony, we've had a lot of great racing. We've seen some intense battles, not only in those bagger classes, but in the metric classes as well. But one thing that we hadn't seen all weekend until today, the beautiful Michigan sunshine. Tell us about your thoughts and how that's going to change things coming into the day. We talked about the lack of predictability with the track changing and getting drier throughout the day. Not going to have to face that today.
Yeah, the conditions are just nearly perfect out there. It's not too hot. The overcast is just kind of keeping the heat down. I'm sure that's great for the racers. And, yeah, awesome traction and great battles so far today.
Absolutely, and we've only got more of that in store as we get ready to line up our next class. Talk about this beautiful Gingerman Raceway facility and, of course, South Haven, the home of Gingerman. It's not just us being excited to be here. South Haven is excited to have Bagger Racing League in their backyard, and we were actually able to catch up with the mayor who was out here in person and checking out the Bagger Racing League.
One of the most exciting things when we came to Gingerman was the mayor, Annie Brown, said, I'm going to come out and say hi and welcome you. Last night we went down to the water. We had a magnificent kickoff, and now here we are at Gingerman. What a great city you have.
Oh, thank Thank you so much, and we're glad you're here. We love Gingerman, and it's exciting. It's a fun event, and Gingerman is great for our economy. So we love when people come here and fill up our hotels and lodgings. So we're really grateful. And who doesn't like a family-owned business? So this is great.
Mayor Annie Brown, when she came out to the track today, we said we can't wait to see if we come back here next year. We want to have you out there on a lap of honor. Will you take it?
I'll take it. Sounds great. It's very exciting.
Annie Brown, the mayor here in beautiful South Haven, Michigan.
And you see Rob Bidas, they're getting the emphasis. South Haven, Michigan, and I attest to it, an absolutely beautiful place, and we're excited to be here. The mayor was not the only one, though, enjoying the racing action. Like we said, we had various members of the community coming out to see what BRL is all about, including the Chamber of Commerce.
Here at Gingerman Raceway, we had a chance to talk to the mayor, but the Chamber of Commerce said we want to welcome everybody that comes out here. So, ladies, we truly appreciate what you've done, the way you guys have rolled out the amazing blue carpet for us here in Michigan.
Thank you. Yeah, we're so happy to have you all here. It's amazing. Everybody looks like they're enjoying themselves. The bikes are so cool. It's really cool to get to learn about all of this that's going on. You know, I've never been to anything like this, and it's amazing that we have this sort of thing here in South Haven. So we're really excited to be here today and learn more and watch the bikes.
You know, when you talk about coming to South Haven, tourism is a big part of it here. We talked to the mayor last night. We made our way down to the water. The whole entire town, from wakeboard parks to restaurants, you have something for everybody here.
Definitely. South Haven is a year-round town. A lot of people think of us just in the summertime, but we're so excited to have you guys here. There's something you can go swimming at our beaches. There's trails to ride. Obviously, Gingerman is a huge attraction as well, so you can find anything for everyone here.
Man, does South Haven know how to have a good time. If you folks are looking to make a destination, make South Haven one of your #1 points. And while you're here, come on out to Gingerman.
And Rob makes a great point, guys. Like we said, if you haven't already, be sure to check out baggerracingleague.com and give Gingerman Raceway a follow as well. They've got a ton of great racing action, especially if you're local to the Michigan area. And it's always nice to be able to give back and not only have a community that accepts us and lets us come out and bring the BRL to their community, but to have people excited to see us and actually to come out and enjoy the racing in person. I know both the mayor and the Chamber of Commerce hanging out for quite a while, watching several different races, and there's nothing quite like experiencing Bagger Racing League in person. You can watch it on Racer TV, which I hope a lot of you are, and we bring you the best racing action that we possibly can, but until you're here, smelling the fuel, feeling the rumble of the bikes in your gut, and watching these guys go into these corners at the high speeds that they are, you just can't quite get a full grasp on it until you're here in person.
Yeah, it's a sight like none other. You know, kind of like a NHRA. You know, I've watched it on TV growing up. Until you see it in person, there's nothing like it. So to hear the rumbles, they take off from the green flag, and it's exciting stuff.
Absolutely, for sure, as we have our DP Brakes Unlimited Superbike class as well as our Air Cool Twins, out on course now. Several of those riders out on course and off to an early race lead. Believe that was Folkerts once again getting a great start with some back-to-back motos.
Yeah, Folkerts, you know, back-to-back races. It's a challenge. You know, he's got the heart rate up. He just needs to settle in. Obviously, like I said earlier in the race before, you know, Folkerts, he's got a good program. He's got the fitness figured out. He's got his bikes dialed in. You know, he's jumping up to the big bike here. He's on that Kramer 890, which is a custom-built, you know, race-specific motorcycle, and it's a handful to ride, but obviously he's got it figured out here.
Yeah, he is certainly putting it to good use and making the most of it right now as he is out front leading the way, trying to catch a glimpse of who exactly that is behind him. Do not believe that we have Rivas out here, but I might be wrong. Obviously, Chris Rivas, the rider that we saw going down earlier, he did look to be okay. He was up walking under his own power, but I have not heard officially whether or not he was able to line back up. But he is riding a different bike in this class, so there's a chance that we could see him.
There's a chance. I'm not sure. You know, we didn't catch word. Trying to pick up a number on that bike that's in the second place position there. Just can't quite make it out. Oh, it looks like the 56 of Tony Bangma.
So Tony putting in a solid run as well. We saw him have a great ride yesterday on that Bronze Furniture EBC brake and Bison Leathers back machine, and looking to try to improve some things today, but it's really difficult to be able to put up a fight with somebody like Folkers there getting such a great start.
Yeah, it's on such a great start on a very capable motorcycle. You know, Folkers out there in the unlimited Superbike class. This is a mixed class, so, you know, you're seeing, you know, kind of a very capable motorcycle in that Kramer 890 against a Buell XB. You know, so he's probably given up quite a bit of horsepower. Obviously, the Buells handle very well, but that Kramer is the complete package.
And it looks like that was the 188 of Matthew Laurent we caught on camera there as well. So Laurent, he had some success, found himself on the podium yesterday. And we talk about these BRL events. It's kind of double-header weekends. You race on Saturday, you race on Sunday. We talked about the weather being a little bit different, maybe a little more consistency in this Gingerman Raceway track. But are the riders going back? Are they taking notes on Saturday night? Are they rewatching on Racer TV and really trying to find out where they can shave a quarter of a second here or a tenth there?
Yeah, I think, you know, one thing that I've gotten from all the racers down in the paddock this morning is all of them went home and they watched our broadcast on Racer TV, and they're taking notes on themselves, they're taking notes on their competitors, they're finding out where they might be giving up some speed, trying to find ways of finding time. So, you know, we're offering this broadcast to all our viewers here, but the racers are taking advantage of it and learning from it too. So it's cool to hear.
Absolutely, yeah. We've seen the same thing over in the GNCC world, especially as we introduced our live drone. Riders really getting to see, hey, this guy started to arc over a little bit earlier than I did. This rider was able to make up on the entrance of corners. So it's always great. Obviously, the coverage for the fans at home, if you're not able to join us here at Gingerman, you can't beat what you're seeing on your screen right now. This is the best coverage that you could ask for. Racer TV and, of course, our man OPAG and AG Videos doing a great job of capturing all of that for you here. But if you're not sitting here in person, you got to watch it like this, but then the riders get to go home. They get to study not only themselves, but you guys are looking at one another as well.
For sure, and I've been in that position, you know, been a racer on track. You know, I'll go home from the race and I'll watch myself and critique myself, because you never know really what you're doing. You know, you can feel it on the bike, but until you look at it from like a third-person point of view here, you know, see kind of what you're doing, kind of relate that to what you're feeling on the track and try and gain some knowledge from that. And it's cool that we can offer that even to the racers as well.
Now, it's a little different when you go back and listen to yourself broadcast, right?
Oh, I hate that part.
Absolutely. I understand where you're at, and we hope you guys are enjoying the racing action that we're able to bring you, and excited to be able to bring it live on Racer TV as Brett Folkers out front. Anthony Bangma holds down the second-place spot with Matthew Laurent. Now moving into the final podium spot, we saw Jake McGuire having a great ride yesterday as well. You know he would like to get up into that third-place spot, with Robert Parker rounding out your top five. And here is the battle on screen. So Bangma's got the position right now with Laurent all over the back side of him. Really looked like he was able to close up heading into turn 11, but lost some time as they were exiting that corner.
This is a fun battle right here. What you're seeing on track right now is the old generation of Buell motorcycles. This is when they were still kind of partnered with Harley-Davidson. They were running, sharing motors with the Sportster motors. That's what Tony Bangma's riding right there, the XB 900. And you see behind him, that's Matt Laurent. On the new generation, the fine folks from Buell were here over the weekend. They're just up the road in Grand Rapids, and they paid us a visit. And Matt's actually an engineer for them. And, you know, he's out here riding this motorcycle that they're developing. But this is actually their production motorcycle that they're working on producing and selling to the public. You know, he's outfitted it with full, you know, custom body work to come out here and race, but to learn how the motorcycle's working. And Matt's, you know, charging forward, but it's old Buell versus new Buell, so it's kind of a old versus new rivalry on the track right now.
A Buell duel, if you will.
Oh, there you go. I like it.
All right, we're going to coin that one as we continue to watch Bangma and Laurent go to battle. And in the battle of old versus new, can't teach an old dog new tricks, but they look like they know what they're doing right now.
Yeah, Tony Bangma making the old bike look fast. So, you know, hats off to him for keeping that bike, you know, in tip-top shape and race ready, and making it look easy out there.
Laurent's been able to maintain this gap by, you know, 5 bike lengths or so. Really seems like every time he starts to creep in, Tony Bangma is able to stretch it back out. been just a real game of cat and mouse right now as they head back down the back stretch. And look at that. It looks like that was the pass.
That was it there. You know, Bangma, we talked yesterday, you know, this is his home track. He's got a lot of laps in here at Gingerman. But home track advantage is something, but it can't beat horsepower down the straightaway. And I think that new Buell has just got a lot of power underneath it.
Yeah, be curious to see whether Bangma's going to be able to put that track knowledge to use and find a way back around Matthew Laurent as he takes over the second place position. But no replacement for displacement, as we like to say. That power of the brand new Buell being put on display right now.
Yeah, for sure. You know, hopefully we can see more of these new Buells, you know, come into the Bagger Racing League here in the future. It's a very cool motorcycle. It'd be great to see maybe a class develop around that bike. Obviously it fits into the unlimited Superbike class right now. But if we could get enough of them and give them their own class, I think that'd be awesome.
And I tell you what, you cannot count Tony Bangma out of this thing yet, as he is really not letting Laurent ride off from him.
For sure. I mean, Bangma, you know, home track advantage. I'm sure he's got a few things in his back pocket he might save for last lap maneuvers. We'll see what can happen here as he's trying to just keep Laurent in tow and, you know, just stay on that back wheel. Look for the right opportunity. As you can see there, he's looking inside, outside, trying to find the right opportunity to make that pass.
And that was a perfect example of knowing how to hit certain corners and kind of having that home field advantage. You saw such a great drive. Bangma got through that double apex. He's able to put the following corner together as well, and now he's pulled up alongside. It's an absolute drag race of Tony Bangma and Matthew Laurent going at it there. Laurent was able to get the better side of it, but Bangma's not giving up quite yet.
Yeah, Laurent, he had a little bobble back there. He gave up a few bike lanes. You know, like you said, Bangma pulled up side, but he was able to use that horsepower and get back around him. And this is a great battle. Unfortunately, like our race before, Brett Folkert's not getting any TV time, but you know, Brett is out there on that Kramer 890, you know, still supported by Motorcycle Supply, and you know, Leroy Industries, they're doing their job, and the battle for second place is the one that we want to watch. This is where all the action's at for second and third.
And plenty of action there is, as once again Bangma gets a great drive through one of the corners. He gets a solid drive coming off of 4 as they head into 5 and 6. We see Laurent hugging the inside on the entrance of the corner. Tony Bangma has to funnel back in behind him.
I know Bangma's got this track figured out. He's got so many laps in here. You know, he just lives less than an hour from here. He's spent a lot of time on this track, so you know, he knows where those opportunities are. He knows this track like the back of his hand, and you know, we're going to see if he can make a last lap maneuver here. I think we're sneaking up on a white flag here as Bangma and Laurent continue to battle. We got a white flag I see out front. Looks like Folkert's just took the white flag out front as this battle continues for second and third.
So back down the backstretch once again. It's Laurent leading the way on the 188 for the battle for second. Brett Folkert's your leader on track, already made his way through the start-finish and taking the white flag. Here comes the battle for second as Laurent once again leads Tony Bangma by just a couple of bike lengths.
I think it's this classic horsepower versus maneuverability, or, you know, kind of being able to move the bike around. That XB is very capable. It's got a very short wheelbase. It handles very well. Excuse me, that new Buell is very fast. It's got a lot of horsepower right out of the gate, and you know, classic horsepower versus handling battle going on here on track.
And a great showing for Buell, old or new. The bikes are extremely capable, and obviously make for some great racing to watch and to ride as well. As you know, both of those riders got to be having a great time. That should be your leader on screen. Brett Folkert's making his way back towards the backside of the field, and only looking at a couple of corners to go before he will be grabbing the win, and that's the way you want to do it. Once again, finds himself out front early off the start. We flash back to the battle for second. Once again, looking like Tony Bangma trying to put something together in the closing portion of the lap.
He's going to have to make it stick and really kind of get a lead, because if they start drag racing down the front stretch, I think that new Buell's got the horsepower and can beat him to the line. So Bangman's got to make it happen right now.
Oh, it's going to be tough to do it. He's got a couple of bike lengths to make up. He comes off on the inside. They pull up along side by side, almost come together. Now that horsepower's coming into play. You see old school versus new, and the new pulls out by a bike length or two. And that might be enough for Matthew Laurent to cement himself in the second place spot. They come across the line, and it will be Brett Folkerts grabbing the win. Matthew Laurent coming across the line second, and Tony Bangma rounding out the podium.
Great battle. I like to see that old Buell versus new Buell. That's a unique opportunity to see those bikes side by side and battling back and forth. Bangma gave it a great effort. And, Bangma's in the air-cooled twins, where Laurent's in the unlimited bike class. So, two totally different bikes, but very competitive.
Absolutely, yeah. Brett Folkert's going to grab the win there in that DP Brakes Unlimited Superbike class. We'll give you the Racer TV replay of how it all went down. The green flag flew, and you see the front end picking up for the machine of Folkerts, really getting that power to the ground. And Brett able to slide right through.
Yeah, it looks like Bangman got a good start. Laurent had to kind of work. He was a little further back, had to kind of charge through the field and make his way up. So great ride for Matt Laurent, kind of a little further back off the start, but he charged forward and brought home that second place.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a fantastic battle to watch, as a true old-fashioned yo-yo, if you will, the old school versus new. Looked like the old school was going to hang on for it, and then slowly but surely that brand new Buell getting put to work, and that is some true field research there. They're going to be able to go back to Buell and know that thing is fully race capable and capable of putting on a great performance out at a Bagger Racing League event.
For sure. You see, Laurent just kind of checking out there, taking the lead from Bangma and making it look easy.
So we see Laurent able to pretty much maintain that gap all the way to the checkered flag, stayed just about a bike length or two ahead, and was able to do just enough to outrun the 56 machine of Tony Bangma for the second place spot. See there, the last lap charge for Bangma, really trying to find a way around, but just too little too late there for the 56. He's going to come across the line in the third place spot. And there it is. They came through, grabbed the checkered flag, and a great fight from Tony Bangma trying to find his way around Laurent, who would grab second. So here is the rundown. Brett Folkerts grabbing the win. Matthew Laurent and Tony Bangma second and third. Jake McGuire and Robert Parker, your top five there for the DP Brakes air-cooled twins and your unlimited superbike class. So up next, we've got the ATU class. And one of our favorite classes. And we were able to catch up one of our Super Street riders a little earlier this weekend. One of the we talked about everybody wanting an Australian friend. Let's catch up with BRL's Australian friend. And, hey, he's a pretty good racer, too. Jake Masters on the 51.
The points leader in the Barnett Super Street, Jake Masters from Australia. Now, that's not exactly down the street when you start racing in America. You fly over from Australia quite often.
Yeah, 14-hour flight to get here to LA, and then obviously another however many hours to get to where we are now in Michigan. But it's all for the fun of it, and I love it. I love being here and racing, so yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Last year, you were on one of the lightweight Sportsters that Suburban built. This year, they built you a bagger. What's the big change going from a Sportster to a bagger?
Kind of everything. The bagger is such a nicer bike to ride. You've got a fairing, more motor, you can lean it more. It was really good starting on the Sportster, but I'm definitely happy I've stepped up to a bagger. It's a lot funner. I'm having so much fun out there, so yeah, I can't get enough of it.
Well, the folks from Australia can't get enough of the bagger racing. We hope all you race fans that are at home call your friends around the globe, because we're an international series.
Always nice to have that international flair. Jake Masters doing a great job, and like we said, really becoming a master of Super Street class, and we talked about the international appeal that Bagger Racing League has started to bring up, and we talked about Bagger Racing League taking their first trip internationally into Canada. Let's talk to one of the riders that is not only trying to grab some wins here in the BRL, but also helped facilitate that trip over to Canada, our very own Sam Guerin.
Andrews Bagger GP has been one of our most exciting classes, and currently second in points, Canadian Sam Guerin. Sam, the second place finish back-to-back at Nebraska has set you up for a championship run.
Yes, exact. We collected some good points last round, so we are still in the championship hunt. Our goal this weekend is to win for sure, so we'll do our best and get some practice today to be competitive tomorrow in qualification and then for the 2 races.
You know, Sam Guerin not only races baggers in America, but he's a superbike racer in Canada. This year, the BRL is headed up to Canada, to your home country. We are very excited about the opportunity.
Yes, exact. BRL is coming to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, so it's an awesome track. It's one of my favorite, I would say, in North America, so it's a really fast and flowy track. So it's going to be awesome with those big bikes going up the straight. It's going to be crazy.
Sam Guerin's certainly going to be a factor in the race this afternoon.
And you can see just how excited Sam is for the Bagger Racing League to head into his home country. And we're excited to see Sam's performance in the Zippers Performance American Twins Unlimited class coming up next. But first, we're going to grab a word from our fantastic sponsors, and then we'll be back for round 4 of the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers live on Racer TV.
Bridgestone's reintroducing their Supermoto tires here in the United States and Canada. That's the BMO1 front and the RO2 rear. It's available in a 16.5 inch as well as a 17-inch configuration. The Racing Battle Axe is a non-DOT tire, and we definitely recommend tire warmer. Time's the only thing in life that money can't buy, but you can buy Bridgestones.
Minutes and 2 laps. Let's go racing. Full contact. Look at that lead. Down to the inside. Jet Lord still on top. Oh, the podium's here. I don't think any atmosphere can match it. Nothing quite like Pro Motocross.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 4 of the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers here live on Racer TV. Zach Herron alongside Tony Tucker in the Tucker Speed Studio. And, Tony, we're getting ready for this Zippers Performance American Twins Unlimited classes, and we've got some big names, Craig Braymiller, Jake McGuire, Carl Schlacht, and, of course, Sam Guerin, who we just heard from a little bit ago as well. This one ought to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, this one's fun. I mean, this is a mixed class. It's just that, unlimited. You can pretty much ride whatever it is you want to ride, come out here and race it. And a lot of these teams use this as a second class to kind of get some more track time, gain some more knowledge out there on track, so it makes for some exciting racing.
Without a doubt. And like we said, we've got some big names in the mix as well. Let's run through it. We've got Craig Braymiller on that 418 coming all the way from New York on the A-Plus Performance Cycle, Geezer Engineering, and Noon Incorporated back ride.
Yeah, we got Sam Guerin out there, the Canadian, the Original Garage Moto team, obviously sponsored by Original Garage Moto, Bridgestone, and Vermont Harley-Davidson, backing them up.
Without a doubt. Jake McGuire on the 718 coming from Kentucky. He's part of that Harley-Davidson Bowling Green Galfer and RC Components backed ride. And then Bobby Parker on the 61 from Indiana. Shredder Bob Racing with the 2-Boss Performance, SNS Cycles, and Geezer Engineering backed ride.
And we also got Tony Bangma out there again on that Bruni's Furniture backed Buell. Again, this is back-to-back races for him. We'll see how fitness plays a factor in this race for him.
Without a doubt. And, of course, we can't forget about Carl Schlacht on the number 8 from Ohio. He's on that Speed Farm HHI Suburban Motos Harley-Davidson backed ride, getting locked in on the gate. And looks like we've got Matthew Laurent there on the 188, getting back on the grid as well. So several of these riders taking the checkered flag and lining right back up on grid.
It can be challenging or it can be an advantage. All depends on fitness.
Absolutely.
So looks like the red flag is out of the way. They're going to wait for the green flag to fly here. This should be a fun race.
It's up and it's waving. Green flag off and rolling, and we're racing here in the Zippers Performance American Twins Unlimited class.
You see Tony Bangma off to a great start. He had a great jump. I almost thought he might have jumped the line there, but I think he just left everybody and getting out to an early lead. See if he can hold that against Laurent here in this race.
Yeah, going to be exciting to watch these two go to battle once again. As you see, Carl Schlacht not getting the standard great jump that we're used to from the number 8, but he finds himself in the third place position right now.
Well, and he's also, taken off from a dead stand compared to two motorcycles that are probably half the weight of his motorcycle. So, Carl's a great starter, but when you're trying to get a 600-pound motorcycle off the line from a dead start compared to those Buells that are probably around 300 pounds, that's a big disadvantage for Carl. So he probably still had a great start, probably just didn't look like it compared to those two.
Hey, it's a great point you bring up, and those two Buells back to battling at the front of the field, and then it really looks like we've got a close battle for that final podium spot between Carl Schlacht and another one of the baggers out on course. Couldn't quite tell who that rider was trying to slide in the final podium spot.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of him, and it looked like it was probably Craig Braymiller on that A-Plus Performance motorcycle. I know his teammate Emilio Jimenez is out there. They worked all through the night to put a new motor in that motorcycle. They had to drive home a few hours away, pick up a new motor, bring it back. They got that bike fired up for the first time at about 6 o'clock this morning, and now they're out there on track. So kudos to that team.
And we have to give a huge shout out to the unsung heroes of these teams. Obviously, we do all that we can to try to shout out sponsors and who's riding for what team, but these riders, not a single one of them out there would be able to do this if it wasn't for the people, the countless number of people that are either back home that have helped make this happen or come out to the race and continue to help make their program run smoothly.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess one name that comes to mind in this class is Scott from A-Plus Performance. He worked through the night on that motorcycle I was just talking about. Kudos to him. He never gets the spotlight, but he spends a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of money into their program. And kudos to him for being kind of the unsung hero of that team.
Absolutely. We could not do it without them, and it truly does take a village for each individual rider, and of course it takes a village of sponsors to be able to put on a Bagger Racing League event. So we appreciate each and every one of you, and if any of you folks at home are saying, well, man, I'm really enjoying this Bagger Racing League racing as well, how can I help? Exit full screen and click that subscribe button, guys. It's that simple. Racer TV and the Bagger Racing League, a brand new partnership, and we want to show that the Bagger Racing fans are enjoying the action. Or if you're one of our Racer TV subscribers already and you are checking out Bagger Racing for the first time, leave us a comment. Let us know how much fun you're having watching some of this epic action as we watch the two Buells out front. A little more separation than we saw in that last race, but once again, it's the old school out front leading the way.
It is right now, and we'll see if Tony Bangma can manage that lead. He's got that new Buell behind him, charging forward. That bike's got a ton of horsepower. We can see if Laurent can creep up and make this an interesting battle. I'd like to see who's back there and further in the pack, battling for third, fourth place. But these two just charging forward. Bangma using that home track advantage, getting out to an early start, off the green flag, and just trying to keep that lead stretched out. Matt Laurent trying to do just the opposite, reel him in, and create a battle here.
Yeah, you can see those two have really opened things up from the rest of the field as we're going to try to take a look back as third place just now coming across the finish line. And we'll give you a rundown of who exactly is in the final podium spot, as well as that final or the rest of the top 5. You can see it now, a little bit of space between them, but the baggers, they've been locked in. We've seen some passes being made already. there for the backside of the field here in this Zippers ATU class.
Yeah, it looked like Craig Bray-Miller holding down the last spot on the podium there in third. Jake McGuire on that Harley-Davidson of Bowling Green Softail sitting in fourth, and Emilio Jimenez sitting in fifth. That's got to be a pretty good feeling, knowing that motorcycle didn't have a motor early hours this morning.
Yeah, it just goes to show all that work was worth it.
It was worth it for sure. So there's Craig Bray-Miller out there. That's a new motorcycle for that team. You know, they've put in a lot of work and developed their, their team and their program. And those guys having a good showing out here in third place in the American Twins Unlimited class.
And there you go at the top of your screen, taking a look at that Zippers Performance Products American Twins Unlimited Top 5 rundown, as Emilio Jimenez on the bubble right now, hanging on to the final spot inside the top 5. But right now, just like our own Tony Tucker had said, Tony Bangla doing a great job of managing that gap out front. Laurent kind of seemed like he was able to track him down in that last race, but not quite having the same luck here in this one.
Not yet. We'll see kind of what Laurent's strategy is here. Both of these guys are coming off, this is the second race in back-to-back races, so fitness is going to come into play here. And Laurent, might just be taking it easy so that he can give it a last, 2-lap charge and try and make it interesting here. And just conserving some energy here through the middle part of this race. But Bangma, he could be doing the same thing, just kind of settling into a pace, waiting for, the halfway mark and a 2-lap mark to kind of click by and then just press forward and kind of try and bring it home.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch because you bring up a good point. These races aren't the longest, but if you give full sprint right off the bat, we have seen riders gas out. And so everybody got to leave just a little bit in the tank and really be able to put on a hard fight those final 2 laps.
For sure, and it doesn't really pertain to these two guys because they're, on motorcycles that are a lot lighter weight. I know just from riding a bagger, when you go out there and you're wrestling around a 600-pound motorcycle, it is exhausting. It is a workout. Your upper body really takes a beating. So kind of conserving that energy and that strength for the last few laps, it can be wise because, some of the guys on the baggers can't gas out. Obviously, the two guys up front on Buells are on lighter weight. Not to say that it's not exhausting and challenging on what they're doing. It's just a different set of circumstances as we see Laurent still back there a little ways, Bangman managing that lead and trying to just hold it down.
Yeah, if anything, it looks like Bangman might have actually stretched it out a little bit as they came through. Looked like they were getting the halfway sign from our head flagger, so only a few more laps remaining for Tony Bangma at the top of this Zipper Performance Products ATU class, as the two Buells really putting on a solid performance at the front of the field right now.
Yeah, Jake McGuire hanging in there tough on that Softail. The Softail that they've put together is very impressive. They've done a lot of work to it and developed that motorcycle. So Jake, sitting here in fourth place should be proud as we see one of these beautiful drone shots overhead here at Gingerman. Really kind of gives you an idea of the landscape of what's going on. That's a good look of turn 5 and 6, that kind of double apex. You kind of have to straighten up. You can see in the middle of that corner there, it creates a little bit of challenge on how to enter 5 and exit 6 and then properly get set up for 7. 7's one of those challenging ones. It's kind of off-camber downhill. And, I love these drone shots. They really give you an idea of the scale and the landscape of what we're seeing out here.
Yeah, it kind of brings a whole different perspective, especially when we do have riders in the middle of a battle or something like that. And, like we said, it's nice when you're able to see, this rider starts closing off into this corner at this point. And it just, as far as, like you said, whether it's viewing it home live or whether it's going back and watching the race after it's finished for studying purposes, I think being able to have that overhead eagle eye type view like what you're seeing right now is pretty invaluable as far as from a studying standpoint as well.
For sure, yeah. It's like we talked earlier, it helps the racers, it helps the fans to kind of get an idea of the landscape. This is valuable information. These guys can see their lines. If they're entering too early or too late, if they're staying inside, outside too long, or whatever it might be. So really, really fun to see it from this angle.
Absolutely, as we are continuing to watch Tony Bangma out front leading the way with Matthew Laurent trying to chase him down, but kind of running out of time. Looks like they're starting to make their way through the back of the field.
Yeah, it looks like Bangma, possibly lapping Carl Schlack there. Carl's probably gassed out. Like I said, he's wrestling around a 600-pound motorcycle out there. This is his second race on the day. I'm sure his shoulders are on fire. Back's sore, forearms are numb, all the above. You know what I mean? It's a workout out there. So, Bangma holding down the lead. Doesn't look like Laurent's going to be able to challenge him here.
Yeah, it definitely does not look like he's tracking him down, and he's running out of time to do that as we're on the backside of this ATU race. Only a few laps remaining. They want to be on the top step for the Zippers Performance Products class. And like we talked about, we've got not only the event scoring for round 4, which is today, round 3 was yesterday, but we also have our Master of the Weekend Championship belt. So somebody will be holding that up as well. And right now, Tony Bangma coming around taking the white flag. He's got 1 lap left to go to try to cement himself as day 2's winner. And then we'll have the race control do all that complicated math that the announcers don't mess with to find out exactly who's going to be holding up the belt and who's going to be the weekend champion in this Zippers Performance Products ATU American Twins Unlimited class. And we want to once again shout out everybody watching at home on Racer TV. Want to give a very special shout out to Paula Fox. Paula not able to join us this weekend. We know she's going to be tuning in on Racer TV and watching all of the action. We wish you were here. Paula, we miss you, and we'll be excited to see you at a race here in the near future. But we're glad that you're able to enjoy the racing action from wherever you are right now, live on Racer TV.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be part of the Racer TV program here. I'm a huge outdoor fan, GNCC stuff, all that, and just honored to be part of the team here on Racer TV.
Yeah, it's been fun to talk about. For those of you that don't know, Tony, an established BRL racer in his own right, grabbing some podiums and really a respected name all throughout the pits here at Bagger Racing League. But you grew up, you did some motocross as you were younger, had a dirt bike racing, decided to put all that dangerous stuff aside and go Harley racing, and we see it wasn't quite as safe as we thought it was.
No, I mean, you're going to get hurt no matter what you're doing eventually, right? That's part of the game. It's the risk we take when we, put on the leathers and go out there and race. Hopefully I can recover from this injury and get back out there with the boys. I have a lot of fun up here in the booth, but I really want to be out there on the course.
Hey, absolutely. I would love to be able to see you out there and call the racing action as we see Tony Bangma hanging on and grabbing the win out of this Zippers Performance Product American Twins Unlimited class. It does look like it's going to be Laurent hanging on for the second place spot, and last we saw it was Craig Braymiller rounding out the podium. But like you were talking about, Tony, very exciting to have BRL now on Racer TV. This is my second year on the Racer TV crew, and whether it's the GNCC series, whether it's the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National, which is coming up at the end of the month, or anything that Racer TV really decides to get into, it's just like they say, it's all racing all the time.
For sure. I mean, I don't care what it is. If it's got 2 wheels and we're going racing, I'm into it. On-road, off-road, no matter what brand of motorcycle, I enjoy it. So it's cool to see all this coming together on Racer TV.
Without a doubt, and it's hard not to be into it. You see Carl Schlack there coming across the line. Let's give you the race replay of how it all went down here in the Zippers Performance Products ATU class. And right off the bat, Tony Bangma getting a great start, putting himself in a top position early. This is kind of actually extremely reminiscent to the battle that we saw just a little bit earlier where Matthew Laurent was trying to chase him down. But a little different story this time as Tony Bangma, I don't know whether he used that track knowledge to his advantage and was saving it up or whether he just found an extra gear, but he was not being messed with here in this one.
Yeah, I really think probably fitness played key here. I know Tony Bangma is in excellent shape. He rides a lot. He trains for this stuff. So, Matt, I think, might have just been lacking a little bit in the fitness department, and I think that was the difference maker here in this race.
There you see Laurent on screen. You can see just how hard he was pushing on that new school Buell to try to catch up to Bangma out front, but just was not able to close the gap up like we saw him do a little bit earlier. Bangma hitting his marks, able to stretch that gap out to where he did not have any immediate pressure behind him and was able to bring it home for a win here in the Zippers Performance Products ATU class. Clay Braymiller there rounding out the podium when they came across the line, so a solid run for Clay there as well. As we wrap up the ATU class, So now the fans all hanging out, chatting it up about how much they enjoyed the race. Tony Bangma there grabbing the win. Matthew Laurent in the second place spot with Craig Braymiller rounding out the podium. Jake McGuire putting in a solid ride for fourth place, and Emilio Jimenez going to close out the top 5. Carl Schlack finishing 6th and rounding out the field. And that means that all we've got left is the main event, folks, our Pro Stock Bagger and our Bagger GP class. We've got arguably the stars of the Bagger Racing League, and you're going to get to see them do battle out on the track. It's time to get to know the riders under the helmet just a little bit better. We were able to catch up with Jesse Janisch earlier this weekend.
The Andrews Bagger GP class has a rider that's already been crowned a champion in the AFT Flat Track Series. Jesse Janisch is here with us again. Jesse, I know that this weekend is going to be another doubleheader. We're up in Gingerman Raceway. You actually have probably more time at this track than anyone here.
Yeah, but that was about 20 years ago. So it's been a long time. We got a couple laps in today. Luckily, it's still the same. So it's good to get to a familiar racetrack. But yeah, flat track, that was a while ago. We're road racing now, so we're having a lot of fun.
Let's talk real quick about the differences. I know that back in the day, flat track racers always kind of really came into their own in road racing because of the sliding of the bike. Do you feel that that gives you a big advantage?
Yeah, I think the throttle control thing from flat track kind of becomes a factor. These baggers, especially the Slide Glide, she makes a lot of power. So throttle control is definitely important with how much power we're making out of these things. So I mean, this was just like a natural thing for me. So I just came from flat track and went road racing. So I guess I can't speak for the other guys. To me, it was very similar to like ice riding. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Wisconsin, so did a lot of ice riding. And yeah, it came pretty natural, but I was also really young when I learned how. So benefiting from that, but we definitely had a long gap from the last time I was here till now. So hopefully, yeah, we'll get some track time, and we're looking forward to the races.
Jesse Janisch getting ready to go here. Make sure you stop by and check him out here at the Suburban Harley-Davidson Slide Glide 2.
And I'm telling you what, folks, Jesse Janisch was a man on a move yesterday, coming through the pack and fighting hard, trying to get up inside that top 3 and battle for a win. But the guy who has not been, he's not letting anybody battle for a win. He's trying to grab all those wins in the Pro Stock Bagger class. Cody Gilmore, we were also able to catch up with him earlier this weekend.
The Pirelli Pro Stock class has a new points leader. Cody Gilmore, opening round, you went away with a 1-1 on the weekend. Perfect score. You kind of like the Jet Lawrence of Pro Stock Bagger racing right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a few years on Jet Lawrence, but yeah, it was a good time out there. Hastings ended up being a really fun track. When we first got there, I wasn't sure if I was going to mesh with it that well, and after a few times out there, it ended up being one of the most fun tracks I had. So I had a blast all weekend, and yeah, it was the bike ran good, so it was a good time, and I'm just looking forward to keeping this series going. We had about a month off, and was able to think about a few things I wanted to work on back home, and didn't get a lot of riding time in back home. I got one track day in, but yeah, was able to get at work on a few things, and should be a good time for the rest of the year. So we'll see how this weekend goes.
Cody Gilmore is certainly a rider to keep your eye on, and make sure the 374 is in your check column if you want to make sure you could bet on a winner.
And certainly a wise rider to bet on, as well, as he was able to grab the win yesterday for round 3, trying to do the same thing in round 4 there in the Pro Stock Bagger class. But if you're somebody like Tony Salima, if you're somebody like Jesse Janisch, or even Sam Guerin, you are all chasing after the big 111 of Ruben Zaus. He grabbed the win yesterday. He's looking to do the same. We're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with our Bagger GP and Pro Stock Bagger class. Will Ruben Zaus be able to do it once again?
Hello friends, this is Ruben Zaus. You're watching BRL on Race TV.
Bridgestone's reintroducing their Supermoto tires here in the United States and Canada. That's the BMO1 front and the RO2 rear. It's available in a 16.5 inch as well as a 17-inch configuration. The Racing Battle Axe is a non-DOT tire, and we definitely recommend tire warmer. Time's the only thing in life that money can't buy, but you can buy Bridgestones.
Minutes and 2 laps. Let's go racing. Full contact. Look at that, ladies. Down to the inside. Jet Lord still on top. Oh, the podium's here. I don't think any atmosphere can match it. Nothing quite like Pro Motocross.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 4 of the 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers. We've got our main event coming up next, the Andrew Products Bagger GP and the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class. Zach Herron here alongside Clay Braun and Tony Tucker in the Tucker Speed Studio. Clay, man, we know you're having a great time. We want to see you out on the track, but you got to get healed up first. We had a great day of racing yesterday. What stuck out to you, and who are the ones to watch?
Honestly, man, I want to see this battle between Cody and Jesse. I mean, I know they're not in the same class, but dude, I was talking to Cody today, and you know, he's hoping to pick off some lines from Jesse, and I can't wait. They're teammates, and you know, it's that team rivalry that really gets people going. So I can't wait to see it happen.
Hey, absolutely. Everybody wants to be the top dog under the tent, and we're going to get to see it here shortly. Andrews Performance Products is the title sponsor there for that Bagger GP class, and we were able to catch up with Andrews Performance Products earlier this weekend.
Premier class in the BRL is the Andrews Bagger GP class. Michael, not only thank you for the support, but this has to be an amazing opportunity to have the class that hands out the Fred Fox Trophy at the end of the year.
Absolutely. It's a complete honor. We've been doing this for 52 years. You know, it's an honor for us to be able to do this and also honor Fred by supporting his top class. We're always pushing the limit with all of our cams, gears, and products, and we love to support the sport.
You know, talking about that, we've talked to a lot of these companies, some in the suspension, the tire game. This is the ultimate proving grounds for them. And the folks from Andrews, when they come out here, the products that we're finding out about when you're trying a new lift or new duration or something material-wise, this is where it gets tested. Next thing you know, it's on the shelf at a drag specialty dealer.
Absolutely. I said out here, everybody's taking it right to the limits. You know, they're not just putting around somewhere. They're really pushing it.
Folks, here in the BRL, the Bagger GP class has a magnificent sponsor with the gang from Andrews.
We talk about it all weekend long, Tony and Clay. You can touch on this as well. We see the riders, right? We see one person on the motorcycle, but there's so many great people involved. Whether it's sponsors, whether it's individual sponsors for teams, or of course the entire series sponsors as well. It's incredible to see how many people are involved and how many people want to see BRL continue to have success.
No, 100%. I agree on that. It takes an army to do this stuff. Like my buddy Tony right there on the screen, his wife Jess back at home, you know, with his soccer team full of kids, you know, they're rooting him on, and he's able to come out here and you know, push the laps and push the limits just for me because I can't ride, you know. So that in a sense is a whole nother testament to, you know, not being here and being able to show support.
Absolutely.
So it's crazy.
There's people showing support at home too. Like you said, we've got families watching live on Racer TV, and Tony obviously doing a great job putting your bike out there and making it look good, but we know you're itching to get back out there. How about this Gingerman Raceway? It was the first time for BRL making the stop, so you haven't gotten to ride this track yet, but what do you think about this course as far as a racetrack? You seen some good passing opportunities, or do you think it's going to make the start even more crucial?
I don't know, man. I got to ride that parade lap, so I don't know. Watch out, dude. I was hitting some I was first place in the parade lap, so.
Hey, if you can't win this, you might as well win that, right?
I did win. I'll tell you what.
Absolutely. If you ain't first, you're last, as Ricky Bobby likes to say. We're going to find out who's going to be finishing first here in just a moment as we are getting ready to throw the green flag. There you see Ruben Zaus and Sam Guerin, front row of that Andrews Products Bagger GP class, and we are off and rolling. Look at the start from the 111.
Yeah, Ruben making short work. Sam, I want to see this battle between Sam and Ruben really take shape. I talked to Sam and the OG Moto team. They want to make it happen this weekend. Today's their day. They had a few gearbox issues yesterday. They got it sorted out overnight. Sam wants to challenge for the win.
Oh, and look at this heartbreak right now. Jesse Janish not rolling. Looks like they're having problems with that machine.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They've been challenged, really challenged with that turbo setup. They're still trying to develop it and get it working, and it's unfortunate to see that. Hopefully Jesse can get out and at least get some laps under his belt.
Man, and that's tough to see, too. He was really pushing the pace yesterday, getting up in the mix and battling with Sam Guerin. You talked about it yesterday. We heard maybe a little bit of mechanical issues as well. What do you think Sam's going to have to work on? As it does now look like Jesse's got that machine up and running and trying to enter the track.
Yeah, sounds like they might still be having some issues out there as Ruben is still there. Sam, keep in touch with him. Sam's been running some fast pace speeds. I was watching lap times earlier. Sam had some good lap times. And also Cody Gilmore. He was running some very, very fast times. And, he could get up there and challenge it with Sam even too.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to watch what Cody Gilmore is able to do. And also able to line up with this race. Obviously, we've got the Andrews Products Bagger GP, the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger, but the top three finishers from our Super Street class are able to get up and line up with this class as well. So be interesting to see whether they're able to get up in the mix as we see our leaders come by the start-finish line.
Yeah, it looks like Ruben and Sam still out front. Cody not too far behind. It looks like one of our podium finishers from yesterday's Pro Stock class, Arnie Wells, had to start from pit row. They must have missed, the parade lap or the siding lap, and had to start from pit row. Couldn't grid with the field. Where Arnie's going to have to put a charge and try and march forward with the Super Street guys also lining up. It's just that many more passes that Arnie will have to make to try and get all the way up onto the podium today.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to see for sure, especially if he's going to try to track down Cody Gilmore, who has looked flawless so far this weekend. We're continuing to watch Sam Guerin chase down Ruben Zaus. He's doing a good job of keeping him in base so far. We've seen Zaus way further out front than this before so far in the season. Guerin, though, looks to be feeling good on that machine.
Yeah, the original Garage Moto team, they've continued to develop that motorcycle. That motorcycle's, it's come a long ways in a couple of years. And to be running up here with Ruben Zaus really says a lot about their team and their program and all the work that they put into the motorcycle. It's a great team, a great bunch of guys. And hopefully Sam can reel in Ruben and battle for a win. I know that team would be over the moon to go out there and beat Ruben.
And Clay, you can see Sam's bike bouncing all over the place. He's clearly pushing the limits, but it looks like Zaus is just ever so slightly itching away. What do you think he can try to do to try to get back into this fight?
I think Sam's sitting in a good spot. We still have a couple laps left. He can still reel him in. I think what Sam's doing right now is pretty smart. He's keeping him arm's length away. Obviously, Ruben is a weapon. He's someone to mess with. As he keeps his foot out in almost every turn because he's heavy braking and everything. He's just magical with the bike. So at least Sam being in the same straight as him, he can at least get a draft off him and pick a line and hopefully make a move, a couple laps down.
Now, do you think whether it happens today or even maybe sometime later in the 2024 season, do you think we start to see Tony Salima, Sam Guerin, do we start to see the leg come off for more of these riders as they're finding ways to push into these corners?
100%. I was just actually looking out the window right now. I seen Cody Gilmore actually get into the stack of the Bagger GP, and he's in the Pro Stock race, but he's still pushing his limits too, and that comes with the Bagger telling you what to do. As long as you're pushing it that hard, the bike will move, and Ruben's a testament to it. Even Cody, So I would love to see more of it for sure.
Yeah, and Tony, that's something that you've talked about all weekend long. The learning aspect of this sport is now we see the leader of your Pirelli Pro Stock class, Cody Gilmore, on screen. Whether you're out front or not, Cody Gilmore leading his class right now, that's something that he's talked about every time I've spoken to him on or off microphone. I'm constantly learning. Obviously, Cody coming from a pro moto and supercross background, constantly taking notes, finding better ways, even going to track days between rounds to try to find better ways to adapt your style and technique so that you can push these machines as hard as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, talking with Cody and even talking with Ruben, the true professionals of this series, the one thing that I take away each time I talk with those guys is, I mean, obviously Ruben is on top of the game. He's, the fastest out here today. But Ruben is always looking for more speed. Even though he's the fastest out here, he still is searching and wants more speed. He wants to fine-tune this, fine-tune that. They were talking about gearbox changes and gearing changes, being able to make shifts, up or down a little smoother, finding more speed. And I think it's the same with Cody. And that's what sets these guys apart is that, that professionalism and always taking everything as a learning lesson and gaining knowledge from it.
And you guys have both testified to this. It's not necessarily, this isn't the bike, all right? This is more than just a properly set up bike. The aggression that Ruben is riding with right now just doesn't seem to be something that other riders can match. He seems just a little more comfortable, maybe able to lean just a little more into some of these corners, and slowly but surely that's allowing him to etch away from everybody else.
I agree with you. I think Ruben's an athlete. He's a top tier guy. Like I said yesterday, day one, coming to day two, Ruben is just he's a warrior in his head and a warrior on the bike. And I think the mentality comes first. Talking to you guys, it follows with everything else. So Ruben's just talking to himself. I guarantee he's singing some kind of song in his head right now. Breathing. I mean, that's what I would do. Foot out again, looking clean as ever.
I've seen that. I've seen the foot thing. It's funny. I'm going to coin the phrase right now. We got the Ruben factor out here in BRL. I've seen a few of the other racers starting to adapt that. Everybody wants to look like Ruben out there, right? So they're hanging that foot out. I think there's going to be a Ruben factor that kind of sprinkles its way around the paddock here in the BRL.
Well, that's exactly what I was asking, is because obviously, just like you said, Clay, everybody's looking to those top guys. If you're winning, what are you doing that I'm not? And so I think the same thing. You're going to see that Ruben effect really start to trickle its way through a lot of these classes and continue to elevate the sport, because it does look like Ruben's able to push just a little bit more into some of these corners and get it slowed down.
Well, and now we're bringing up Ruben and how smooth and calm he's looking. I mean, as you're looking at the TV, it doesn't look like he's really moving that fast, but really he's cool, calm, and collected right now. As you look at that gap between Sam and Ruben, you can tell that he's gapped away a little bit, and he's just feeling it.
Yeah,
you can't really make this stuff up, because it's a rider to bike combo, and it's 1 and 1 equals 2. Simple mathematics. I was never good at it, but it makes sense now.
Yeah, just looking at the lap times here, it looks like Ruben has a little over a second over Sam right now, so Sam's going to have to find some time. But Cody's running some very respectable lap times out there. Not far off of the pace of Ruben and Sam. Cody obviously running in the Pro Stock class. And I'd love to hear from Cody. Does he look to move up to the GP class next year? Like you said earlier, Clay, I think it would have been awesome to see Cody and Jesse. I think they would have been very close in speed, battling back and forth. Unfortunately, Jesse had some issues and, couldn't get out there on the track. So, but obviously Ruben just doing what Ruben does. He's just checking out. He makes it look easy, smooth, and extremely fast.
Now, as somebody that doesn't have experience on one of these machines, something like, let's just say, taking your leg off headed into one of those corners, is that something that you could see one of these riders trying in a race, or is that something you're going to wait, you're going to practice, maybe take it off a little bit one lap and then a little more and a little more? Because sometimes we're literally watching Ruben drag his foot across the asphalt as he heads into some of these corners.
I think for me, if I was going to try that technique, if I was going to do it in a race, it'd be, at a time where I'm not really in the heat of a battle. If I'm in the heat of a battle against Clay right here and we're battling back and forth, my focus is just on staying out front. I'm not thinking about, hey, let's try this or that. Obviously, practice day or a track day would be the time to try that technique. But if I'm in the back of the pack and just not really in a battle, I might try it here or there.
No, 100%. And I want to feed off that, Tony, because like you said, if I'm behind you and we're pushing the race pace, and you know I'm feeling myself, and I know where you're gonna go. Sometimes that stuff happens, and you don't know just because you're pushing, and like you're looking at the lap times from qualifying to everything else. Everyone breaks a couple seconds just because of race pace.
Yeah, race pace. I mean, I was definitely that way. Some guys can go out and be blistering fast in qualifying. I was always one that, you know, came race time, if I'm chasing somebody down, I was able to find a second or two here and there. I think we all, you know, the adrenaline factor comes into play. You know, if you're in the battle or if you're chasing the guy in front of you, you're going to find some time. You're just going to drive a little deeper into the corner, like you were saying. You know, get on the, you know, on the gas just a little bit quicker, and you know, find a little bit of time. So see some good battles happening back here. We got Emilio Jimenez coming up
behind Eric Reyes.
Yeah, and I think behind him is you know, Eric Reyes. He's out of the FDR camp, and you know, Eric riding. You know, he's out here. Got some really cool sponsors. The All American Riders, they're a nonprofit organization. Veterans helping veterans. You know, we can't ever say enough about those guys. You know, doing the work that needs to be done. Black Widow Creations, the Law Tigers. You know, big shout out there for Eric. So looks like we got Ruben going to make put these guys a lap down. Don't feel too bad because Ruben is on another level, as you see Ruben taking the white flag there.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good shot we're getting from the drone there, just to show Clay, kind of like what you said earlier. He may not look like he's going that fast, but once you see other riders out there and see how much faster he's going than the competition, it kind of puts it in a perspective. He is putting full laps together. Doesn't seem like he's got a weak section of the track or a strong section. Just lap after lap, clicking them off like a Sunday cruise.
Tony, he's a SpaceX of Bagger Racing League right now. That falls to the moon.
He has got one more lap left to do it here. A little bit longer of a race for this Bagger GP and Pro Stock Bagger class. They're going 8 laps, so you talk about the fitness coming into play. He's fit. He's able to go the distance, and he's about half a lap or so away from continuing the undefeated streak. Going to add another belt to the collection and walk away 4-time winner in 2024. Cement himself in the points lead of that Andrews Products Bagger GP class. And Cody Gilmore looking to do the same. So that was kind of some of our big questions coming out of the first few rounds. Will those top dogs really be able to continue that trend? Will we see anybody else be able to answer the call? And I will say, regardless of whether Ruben closes this lap out and wins or not, this has got to be a positive race for the likes of Sam Guerin.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, they've been running some very good lap times today. You know, they're making progress. They're getting faster and faster every time they hit the track. And I see Ruben go a little wide there and hit the dirt. Little celebratory dust. And celebrations for Ruben. Congratulations to him.
Absolutely well deserved, and getting the job done. Going to wave to the fans on the cool down lap as he gets ready to head down over towards the podium. Like we said, going to do all of the podiums here coming up next. We'll start with our Andrew Products Bagger GP class as well as the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class. And then we will work our way through the field to talk to the top 3 from all of our classes. And that is how it's done. Get the work done early, take the checkers, and then it's all just waving to the fans. Here we see the RacerTV.com replay. Ruben and Sam side by side, but man, look at the absolute rocket ship of the 111. He gets the start, and Clay, you know as well as I do, when you get a start like that, it's going to make it hard on everybody else.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw Ruben practicing starts on pit row earlier today. Looks like it paid off there.
Without a doubt, practice makes perfect, and unfortunately, Jesse Janish not able to have the day he was hoping for after such a strong performance yesterday. He ran into some problems on that number 9 machine and was not going to be able to make it out.
For sure, you know, and sit back there in third, Cody Gilmore, our winner of the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class. He got off to a great start, kind of separated himself for the rest of the pack. I think he was trying to hang in tow with Ruben and Sam there for a little bit. Great ride for Cody, but these guys, they're true professionals. They just did their job, went out there, got the early lead and walked away from everybody.
Absolutely, and like we said, a huge shout-out to Arnie Wells, starting from pit row, able to get back out there and try to get in the mix. Carl Schlack doing a great job as well, but this guy, untouchable at the top of the field. Doesn't matter what we throw at him, what the conditions are. He's able to find a way to rise above the rest of the competition. Sam Guerin there you see, keeping him honest, not letting him ride off into the sunset, but not able to close that gap up and show him a wheel as the 111 brings it home and is going to add another cap to the feather. Cody Gilmore, another rider looking to continue an undefeated streak as he makes his way through, going to be grabbing the win out of that Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class. Also going to be looking for his second belt of the season. And Ruben heads a little wide. He kicks up the dust. He tells the fans to get up and make some noise. And the 111 of Ruben Zaus going to grab the win for your Andrews Performance Products Bagger GP class. Cody Gilmore going to grab the win out of the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger. Well, Clay, we appreciate you joining us up in the booth. We hope the recovery continues going well, and we hope to see you not in the booth and back out on the track by the time we make it out to Willow.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate you having me up here. It's cool to see the other side of everything, you know, from the track to up here. So I appreciate you guys, and hopefully the next round at Willow I'll be there.
Back out in the mix. We can't wait to see it. We take a look now at our Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger and Andrews Bagger GP rundown. Ruben Zaus, Sam Guerin, Cody Gilmore, your top three. Tony Salima coming across the line in fourth with Craig Braymiller, your top five. Emilio Jimenez, Eric Reyes, Tyler Elliott, Sean Hoffman, and Joe Sanderson rounding out your top 10 for the final race of the day. All of these folks over here on Spectator Hill going to start to make their way over towards the announcer's tower. We've got the podium just on the backside, and these guys are going to be chatting it up with our very own Tony Tucker here in just a few, as we'll hear from our last race first. So just once again, make sure everybody's on the same page. We'll have our Andrews Products Bagger GP class and the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger podium first, and then we will run through the rest of the running order and talk to our top three after that. So don't want to go anywhere. Like we said, it's one thing to watch the riders out there on track do battle, but to get to learn the guys under the helmet and get to hear about the race from their perspective really adds a whole new light to the way the race went down for sure. So everybody looking at hopping back on the bike, so we're going to head over to the pit road and listen to what Ruben and the rest of the field has to say. There you see the big man right now, the guy who got the job done, the 111, Ruben Zaus, grabbing the win. And already, look at him. He's talking about how he's going to get that bike set up a little bit better. What can I do to improve? How can I win by more? And I guess that's just the championship mentality of never being satisfied, always looking for better and better. And that right there, what you're seeing on screen, folks, that's another thing that separates Ruben from a lot of the rest of the field. His ability to communicate what he's feeling on the motorcycle to his team so that they can correct it. Every time I see him over there, he's using hand gestures. He's trying to explain to his team exactly what it is he's feeling so they can make the necessary adjustments and get him as comfortable as possible out on the track. But I don't know on a scale of 1 to 10 how comfortable he was today, but whatever it was enough to get the job done and grab the win in your Bagger GP class here today. And he's, look at that, winking at the camera, going to be kissing hands, shaking babies, or vice versa. You know what I'm getting at. And he'll be celebrating with our very own Tony Tucker here in just a moment. Look at that, going to run through some sponsors real quick. Make sure you shout this guy out. Everybody getting out of Dodge and headed over towards the podium. They want to listen to the guy that just grabbed the big win and is going to be handing out or holding up that big gold belt here for the weekend championship from rounds 3 and 4. Make sure, like I said, if you guys have not already, you're following us on Bagger Racing League on Instagram, and, of course, hopping over to baggerracingleague.com to find out when the next round is, where we're going to be closest to you. And that's your one-stop shop for all things Bagger Racing League. We've got the apparel links in there as well. So if you want to grab some BRL merchandise and get swagged out like all of your favorite BRL racers, you're able to do that as well. Looks like we've got the bikes all set up. We're going to wait until we get the word that Tony and all of the riders are down there and ready. See our man Mike Nichols got the camera set up and ready to rock. And we'll be chatting with our top 3 here in just a moment. Here from Gingerman Raceway in beautiful South Haven, Michigan. Like we said, a huge thank you to the mayor and to the Chamber of Commerce for coming and hanging out with us this weekend, checking out all that BRL has to offer. We hope you guys have had a great time. Drone shots showing the fans all coming out, everybody wanting to celebrate with their winners, cheer on their favorite rider. And it looks like we are ready to send things down to the podium with our man, Tony Tucker. All right, so going to give us a minute here. We're having some issues with the microphone. All right, Tony, jump in if you're ready. Doesn't sound like Tony's got me in his ears now. Tony, good to go whenever.
All right. Sounds like we're going 2 mics again today. Get ourselves under control here. Do we got audio? All right, we're here. Everybody put your hands together. Getting everything under control here. Put your hands together. This is the Andrews Products Podium. Jesse, 3rd place. You guys had some troubles. Walk us through what was going on out there.
A little bit of everything, right? It's just it's a work in progress. And, yeah, the boys never stopped. It's been a little bit of a challenging weekend, but the boys never stopped. So give it off to the Suburban crew, the Sly Fox Slide Glide. Just like I said, work in progress. So baby steps, just introducing complicated motorcycles. And, yeah, just trying to check all the boxes and get everything sorted. And we'll come back swinging at the next round in Canada.
Right on. I know you guys got a great team here. Give a shout out to all those that help you get here.
Yeah, like I said, the Suburban boys, Sly Fox, everybody that's helped me out, Arai and my fiance, DJ, my electronics guy, Ben, everybody. It's a family effort, and I appreciate it.
Right on. We got your Andrews Products number 3 plate here. All right, put your hands together. Sam Guerin, Original Garage Moto, our 2nd place finisher here. Sam, it looked early like you were going to try and challenge Ruben. Walk us through your race.
Yes, exact. I was trying to keep up with Ruben for as long as I could, but he had some strong pace, so I couldn't latch to him. Hopefully, all our mechanical stuff is solved. So we had a really good bike today to compete. So we'll just look for the absolute best time and best performances. We're still tuning the chassis and the suspension, so it should get better and better. So thank you for all the guys at the Original Garage. It was an awesome weekend. Thank you, Primo Harley Davidson, Revolution Performance, Bridgestone guys. The tires were awesome all weekend. Speed and Strength, Legend Suspension, and Silver Wax. Thank you, all the fans, and yeah.
Right on. Put your hands together for Sam Guerin, Original Garage Moto. We got your Andrews Products number 2 plate here. And our winner, make some noise here for Ruben Zaus. Ruben, you guys just make it look easy there. You're true professionals. Walk us through your program and your race this weekend.
No, I mean, as I said yesterday, we're just developing the bike ourselves. We've got no information. I mean, at the end, motorbike is a motorbike. And if you can control the setup and the behavior of the bike itself, you can go faster and faster. And at the end, I cannot just compare myself to nobody else. I know what I do. I know how to ride a bike. I know how to brake, how to stop the bike, how to lean, how to close the corners. And I just need to believe in myself and the team. That's what we're doing. Every day we just try to do things. This weekend we try to play with the mapping system to have a better acceleration contact. Then we just set up some things on the bike. We've got different exhaust measurements more up because I was touching everywhere. So we're leaning over pretty much. So and at the end also testing with Bridgestone some things. You know, I like hard tires. I don't think about the grip itself. I need how to stop the bike, how to get in and pick up and go. And at the end, the harder rubber instructor allowed me to brake later and to control the bike and keep the bike more stable. I mean, from outside, maybe it looks that the bike's not moving at all, but I play a lot on the bike or with the bike all the time to just compensate that in anticipation. So I need to thank the whole team. The bike works very well. We've got some issues with the gearbox, but I think everybody else did, and we need to focus on just developing some parts for that situation. Ready to go and challenge Moto America in Laguna Seca. I mean, but that weekend was very important for us to keep leading the championship, raising up the championship for also Europe, that I'm trying to just help out yourself and you boys BRL, and nothing. If I can, with the team, go into Laguna in 2 weeks' time, I'd like to go and just test myself and test the level of what we have, you know. So thanks to everybody, thanks to Philling, STM, and Barnett. Together they're doing an incredible clutch system, and at the end, everybody, BRL, Rob, my competitors, you know, Jesse and also Sam, they're pushing. I need to push more. You know, at the end, I'm developing things because they're pushing me, okay? So thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys. Make some noise. Ruben's house. We've also got the championship belt going 1-1 on the weekend. And go ahead and bring that belt in here. Get some photos. Make some noise for your podiums, for your Andrews products, Bagger GP class podium winners.
All right, a huge congratulations to our Bagger GP podium. There you see the sportsmanship and respect between these athletes. That's it's truly something that's fun to see. These riders, absolute war dogs, diehard competitors against one another when they're out on the track. But as soon as the checker flag flies, they're the first ones to congratulate one another, offer help if somebody goes down. We saw that yesterday as well. One rider going down and immediately flooded by people from other teams with asking what parts they needed, how they could help, because everybody wants the best of the competition. They want to see the best riders get out there and get in the mix, no matter whether it's their own rider, their teammate, or whether it's their main competition. So truly something special that Bagger Racing League offers, just a camaraderie that you don't find at a lot of other styles of racing. As we're going to get things changed over, have the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class coming up next. We'll chat it up with Cody Gilmore and the rest of your podium finishers. Obviously, all of the media going crazy, wanting to get their shot of the winning bike, and, of course, Ruben as well. And Sam hanging out and chatting up with him as well, too. They're going to get his bike moved out of the way here in just a moment and be moving on to that Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class coming up next. So once again, we'll have that Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger podium coming up after this. Ruben's celebrating with the fans, chatting it up, taking one of his 400 hats off. Wish I could wear hats like that. And he's getting the shots. Everybody wants to celebrate with the man on top. And not only walking away with 2 number 1 plates from the weekend, but he's got 2 shiny belts now, courtesy of the BRL. So he's going to put those up in the trophy case and add those to his collection. All right, folks. Looks like they're getting lined up for a shot. All right, say cheese. There it is. Ruben and the entire team celebrating that fueling back ride. And like we said, guys, obviously Ruben's the one out on the bike, but it truly is a team effort. The entire fueling team out there constantly working with Ruben. Like I said, he's one of the best communicating what he's feeling on the bike, what he's looking to feel on the bike. And it helps those mechanics and techs and engineers give him the machine that he's looking for as well. As the photos keep rolling in, living like a rock star down there. It's part of what comes with being the top dog in the BRL right now. And I know for the rest of the field, Jesse and Sam, they're probably looking over there saying, that's going to be me soon enough. Obviously, Sam Guerin, as always, a lot of positivity coming off of the weekend. Like we said, I think this has got to be a good weekend in his eyes. He comes across the line second. He had a solid running machine. He was able to put up a good fight today. And like we said, all of these teams, including Ruben, they're still working, trying to get that bike exactly like they want it, looking for perfection. And they're liable to be looking for perfection forever, right? Tony talks about it all the time. This is brand new technology, a lot of one-off custom parts being handmade by some of the team members. And so you never know what you're going to get. You never know what's going to work and what's not. And that's part of the fun that why they line up at each and every round of the BRL. Never know whether you might have found the secret or maybe you still got some searching to do for a little bit more speed, as it looks like we're going to get the Pirelli Pro Stock class lined up. It looks like we've got Cody there. Looks like that's Cody, Arnie, and Tony Salima going to be on the podium there for that Pro Stock bagger class. So we'll be chatting with them here in just a minute. And great to see the fans still hanging out, enjoying the podium celebrations. Make sure if you're here on site, you guys are grabbing yourself some BRL apparel. We've got T-shirts and hats, and I say it all the time. How else is everyone going to know that you spent your weekend at one of the best races in the country if you don't walk out with some of the merchandise, some of the swag, if you will? So make sure you're grabbing your BRL apparel before you guys head home today. But right now, this guy's not looking for apparel. He's not looking for hats. He's looking for a number 1 plate and a shiny gold belt to go along with it. Cody Gilmore getting the job done, chatting it up with Arnie Wells there, talking about the race. And we're going to get ready to send things down to the podium where these guys are going to catch up with our very own Tony Tucker.
We got
running into some technical issues. Go ahead, Tony.
All right, let's see if we got this figured out. All right, everybody, put your hands together. This is the Pirelli Tires Pro Stock Bagger Class podium finishers. Our third place finisher, Tony Salima. I know this program. You got this number 3 plate coming in here. I know this means a lot to you guys and your team. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on in the team and what this all means to you.
Oh, man, this is everything, dude. Just to see all these people out here having a good time, watching Harleys and Indians race each other, like this is everything I've ever dreamed of. So, it's super awesome to be out here with guys like this, and I'm shocked. I got it's like starstruck out here with these pros and stuff. So we're just out here. FDR Foundation, they got us out here, and they help down riders. I'm on Clay's bike right now, and he went down not too long ago. FDR Foundation is helping him out, and we're just out here trying to spread the love and show everybody that fucking God is good, and he got us here and helped us with this whole situation. So it's been pretty awesome, dude.
I know you got some great sponsors and a lot of help. Who do you need to share some love with?
So many people. First off, my wife and my family, dude. I couldn't do it without them. These guys are my family too. It's like, so I got obviously FDR, we got Youngblood Crew, we got Saddlemen, SNS, Shark Law, Lexan, Lifestyle Cycles, Quaid Harley Davidson. So many people that help this program, and we're just getting started, dude.
Right on. Everybody make some noise for our third place finisher in the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class, Tony Salima. All right, Arnie Wells. Arnie, we talked earlier. I told you I'd see you up here on the podium, but you just had to make it hard on yourself, didn't you? Starting from pit row, walk us through what you went through and how you had to march through the pack and get up front.
So I've never started from pit row, and I didn't even know where I was supposed to be at, so I got yelled at by Rob a couple times. And I was able to get out there. It was good. I had a couple guys sitting in front of me that I was able to catch up to and made a couple passes. And, so I just rode my race. I pushed it. I ran really hard, but I was making like a lot of mistakes, so I wish I could just chill more.
Yeah, well, it was an impressive ride. I mean, it's always a challenge to start for pit row. I know you guys have an awesome team and some great sponsors. Who do you need to share some love with?
Suburban Motor, Harley Davidson, Jolly Good, Sly Fox, Legend, Performance Machine, Bridgestone, Alloy Art, Trask, Wayne's Drive-In. There's many more, and like everybody that comes out in sports.
Right on. Put your hands together for our second place finisher in the Pirelli Pro Stock Bagger class, Arnie Wells, and that Jolly Good soda. All right, make some noise. Cody Gilmore making it look easy out here. Really impressive ride. You've had some impressive lap times all day, all weekend. You got that number 1 plate coming in here. Do you have any aspirations of moving up to GP because you're running that kind of pace?
Yeah, obviously that's the goal. So hopefully next year I can get out there and battle with them guys. I wanted to use this year to kind of learn and do the best I can. And I didn't really know what to expect coming in to this year and how the first year on the bagger is going to go. So far it's been awesome. It's been cool learning from the teammate. Arnie's been on the bagger for a few years and he helps me out whenever he can. So to have teammates like that help you out, lend a hand, that's pretty cool. So the race was awesome. I was able to keep Sam and Ruben in my sights a little bit for the first few laps. And yeah, I kind of got a little tired and I kind of just settled in and figured, hey, I've learned a lot this weekend. Like I told you yesterday that I wanted to. I was able to knock a couple seconds off the time this morning and wasn't quite able to run that in this last race. But, hey, it's as long as I can learn and keep getting better and have fun at these races, that's all that matters. That's why we're here. So just huge shout out to Bridgestone and Suburban Motors, Harley, the whole crew. You know, it's awesome having them to back us. And, man, I couldn't appreciate it enough. So with all of our sponsors, Alloy Art, Trask, Ride Therapy, Filthy Roosters, man, the list goes on and on and on. And LS2 helmets, and for everyone to help us like that, get us here, we can keep doing this. So thanks to everyone. Thanks to Rob, and we'll see you guys at the next one.
All right, and going 1-1 on the weekend and taking home that championship belt. Hold it up high, Cody. Everybody make some noise for our Pirelli Tires Pro Stock Bagger podium finishers here.
So there it is, Cody Gilmore once again finding himself on the top step of the podium. A huge congratulations to Arnie Wells and Tony Salima up on the podium with him as well. Some great racing out of that Pirelli Pro Stock class, and it sounds like the future of the Bagger GP class is looking bright. Won't be long before we'll see all three of these guys up in the mix battling. It's going to be really exciting. I'll tell you what, Bagger Racing League, it's their 4th year, and I think things are just getting bigger and better. We've got new names, bigger names from all over making their way through. And we'll have our next generation Superbike class coming up next. So like we said, we have our final class of the day as the first podium, and then we start to go through the race order chronologically. Let's give you a little bit of a replay as to how things went here for this RacerTV.com replay out front. We saw it was the 911 machine of Jamie Hansen getting the early race lead and mixing it up with Scott Short. These two had a battle royale at the front of the field, going back and forth, almost kind of yo-yoing back and forth. It seemed like every time Scott was able to close that gap up, Jamie was able to respond and stretch it back out. Then you throw the KTM Supermoto into the mix. Arch York says, hang on a second, I'm going to put the orange front fender up towards the front of the field. He was able to find his way around Scott Short, and then take a look at this, folks. He's looking to the inside. He's looking to the outside. He pulls up alongside, and Arch York able to get around Hansen for the race lead, really doing some late braking, puts that KTM to the inside and makes the pass stick. So just like that, Arch York would take over the number 1 spot, and then the battle would become between Arch and Jamie Hansen. Look at that, Hansen just going a little too wide. Hang on to it. He goes for the ride of his life. Is able to keep it on 2 wheels and hang on to the 2nd place spot, popping back just in front of Scott Short. And now Short smells blood in the water, says, hang on, I want to try to get around this guy, see if I can grab 2nd place. They're in an absolute drag race headed back to turn 3. At this point, Jamie Hansen got to be trying to just get the heart rate back down, trying to figure out how the heck did I just save that. And he's able to get back into the race zone and immediately go back to defensive riding, blocking those good lines, able to run a solid pace and bring home a 2nd place finish. Arch York would come across the checkered flag first, grabbing the win on that KTM Supermoto. And here you see the drag race. Hansen going to just edge out Short to the line, grabbing 2nd. And it looks like we have got them all hanging out and ready. Not sure that's the same bikes that they were riding earlier today, but they're up on the podium hanging out with us. And we're going to catch up with them here in just a minute. Look at that zebra stripe. If you'd have put that on the bike, it might have gone a little faster, man. I like those decals. 150. He's still got the number on there, looking good. And we're going to send things down whenever you're ready. Tony, feel free to jump in. And we will catch up with our unlimited class. Once again, if you have not already, guys, make sure you're subscribed to Racer TV here on YouTube or on racertv.com. And if you're not, you need to be following Bagger Racing League on Instagram to keep up with all of the racing action. Like we said, the next official round of the series not coming until November, but we do have several more exciting races going on throughout this summer. Now it looks like we're ready, and we're going to turn things down to the podium with our very own Tony Tucker.
All right, put your hands together. This is our next-gen podium finishers. Scott Short coming in third there. Scott, you tried to make a last lap charge there, in battle for second place. Walk us through your race.
I definitely felt the underpower of my bike today against everybody in that next gen. It was a step-up class. Super fun to get a bunch of fast laps in. It was like a warm-up for my next race. Everything could have went a little bit better, but they put on a school today. So I have some work to do for next time. We'll see what we can do at another event.
I know you got some great sponsors. Who do you need to share some love with?
I like my scooter. LaFonda the Honda, she's the best. Never lets me down. And Motorcycle Supply for all the cool things that they help us out with. Track Addicts guys, hope you guys are having fun out there this weekend. Hope to see you guys back out there at Hastings next year. You guys have been awesome.
Right, I'll make some noise for Scott Short, our third place finisher in next gen. Jamie Hansen, we got some good news, man. Yeah. Make some noise. Second place here in the race today, but you're also taking home the championship belt on the weekend with, I think it was a 2-1 finish. Mm-hmm. And
I got 1-2.
Or 1-2, sorry. Yeah, sorry. But you know what I mean. Walk us through your race today. You had a good battle with Scott and Arch out there. Walk us through your race.
He got ahead of me, and I was looking for the fast line back around him, and I couldn't find any traction out there.
Yeah, we saw you off in the grass. I thought you were going down for sure. You saved it, and hats off to that save because that was sketchy. Walk us through that.
Yeah, that was the wrong line. I was trying to make it through the weekend on my tires, and just about didn't make it. They were all over the place, and I'm happy I stayed up, I guess.
Right on. I know you got some good sponsors. Who do you need to thank today?
LM2 Racing, Trackside Labs, SCS Cycle, DP Brakes, A Affordable, Bail Bonds, all my family and friends who support me to help me live my dream.
Right on. We got your second place trophy coming in here. We'll have a championship belt here for you in just a few. Make some noise. Jamie Hansen, our second place finisher in next gen. All right, make some noise. Arch, we met in the coffee line earlier today, and I was hoping for a good race, but you went out there and put on a clinic on that Supermoto. Walk us through your win.
Oh, it was awesome. The start, I got a huge wheelie. I had to fight that thing back down, make some clean passes there, made some close ones, but I trust these racers, and they let me by good and fair, and then the rest of it, I just put my head down and try to create a gap, so that way I wasn't going to get chased down on those straights like I was struggling with yesterday. I need to learn how to look behind me because I started psyching myself out because I thought they were behind me, and I almost crashed a couple times, but luckily I didn't. I got to bring home that first place, and I'm super stoked about it.
Right on. I know you got some really cool sponsors. Who do you need to thank today?
Absolutely. First and foremost, if you want to pan down here, I got my Tapatio socks. Without those, I don't think I would have won that race at all. But definitely, I'd like to thank Underground Team Racing. I'd like to thank my parents, actually, first and foremost. Without them, I would not be here, especially my dad, Underground Team Racing owner over there. BRL, with the awesome T-shirts and everything like that. I appreciate y'all welcoming us out here. Underground Team Racing, like I said, we also have a website, utr811.com. And then Kansas 811 and Missouri 811, I'd like to give a shout out to them. Make sure you click or call before you dig. And lastly but not least, I'd like to thank the Marine Corps. Without them, I would not be here.
Right on, everybody. Put your hands together for Arch York and our podium finishers in the next-gen Superbike class. Got your number one podium finisher there. Thank you, Arch.
So great stuff there, and like we said, lots of personality out here in the Bagger Racing League as well. So like we heard, Arch there at ex-Marine, he got the socks, giving us, making sure we all got the shot there. And if I heard that correctly, I believe it was LaFonda the Honda is the name of that scooter. And apparently that's a lifesaver there for Scott. So great racing from those three all weekend long, and been exciting to call the racing action. There you see some of the other members of that underground team racing getting up and getting their shot as well. Everybody wanting to get in. Got to get the Insta bangers for the team page. Absolutely. He's holding up that belt along with today's trophy. And like we said, we talked about it earlier today. Tony even said these riders are going to start to go back and watch Racer TV after the races on Saturdays, especially for these doubleheader weekends. Sound like Arch was able to do just that. Taking a look now at our RacerTV.com replay. It looks like, I believe this is going to be your Super Street class that's coming up next. Jake Masters was the guy to beat coming into the weekend. He had found success yesterday on day one. Guess what, folks? He was able to do it once again here today. He gets out to an early race lead over Carl Schlack, Sean Hoffman, and Chris Rivas as well. Here you see Rivas runs it up the inside, trying to find a way around the number 8 of Schlack, but Carl doing a great job of riding a wide bike and able to hold on to the second place spot for the moment. But then almost a lap later, or no, I take that back. That's coming down the front straightaway where Rivas was able to make that pass. Now look at this. Sean Hoffman on the 27 goes way to the outside, almost tries to get a 2-for-1 in that corner. He finds his way around the number 8 and sets his sights on the 244 of Chris Rivas. This was a battle royale, folks. Let me tell you what. Hoffman was all over the 244, and then watch the right side of your screen. They're headed into the corner really hard on the brakes. You see Rivas. He locks up the brakes, and then things start to go downhill in a hurry. Goes down and heads over towards the woods. We would later see Chris get up under his own power and walk off. I have not heard officially, but we're hoping that Chris is okay. I'm getting a thumbs up, so it sounds like he was able to get back up and is okay. He would not rejoin the race, but we got a restart after that. We had to find out exactly what the race protocol was. So it's a 7-lap race. They had done one completed lap. We're over halfway through the second lap, and so they would reline up for a 5-lap dash. So as if the pace and intensity wasn't high enough already, we cut a couple of laps down once we sent them back out. Masters would once again put himself in the number 1 position early, but now it was the 27 of Sean Hoffman who was holding down second place, trying to fight off the number 8 of Carl Schlack. Let's hear from your podium finishers with our very own Tony Tucker down on the podium.
All right, everybody, make some noise. This is your Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street class. Podium finishers, Carl coming in third. That was a crazy race with the red flag, and you guys had to regrid and restart. But walk us through your race and what was going through your mind.
Yeah, first thing you know, I want to get the whole shot. So get going right away real good and get ahead of some of these guys and try to hold them off. Chris and Sean both got around me, and I just tried to link on their pace. And Chris, man, it was pretty crazy to see in front of you, you know. So I'm really glad he's okay. But yeah, that was a lot of fun racing.
Right on. I know you got a laundry list of great sponsors here, and give a shout out to all of them.
Yeah, first of all, God for keeping me safe. My mom and dad are here. My dad's been wrenching on my bike all weekend. My family's at home, Maggie and my baby River, so they're watching. Hi. Chris Rivas over here we had some intake issues yesterday, so he had some parts we were able to get back, so thank you, Chris. I'm glad you're okay. HHI Hog Halters, Bridgestone, the S23s. I mean, we got the street tires. I could ride and go get some dinner right now, throw my license plate on, so those tires are incredible. Alloy Art, Fueling, DP Brakes, Original Garage, Joe, the whole Suburban team, Blood Lubricants, Alex Fox at Sly Fox, Palm Pouch, True Blue, Proudfoot Motorsports, Ultra Cool, Custom Culture, 64 Degrees, Aiden Customs, and Ratty Fab. Let's do it.
Right on, everybody. Put your hands together for Carl Schlack, our third place finisher in the Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street class. Oh, Carl. All right. Everybody make some noise. Sean Hoffman. Sean, your second place finish here in the class. A little too close on that incident with Chris, but you were able to get back out there. Walk us through what was going through your mind after you guys had to regrid.
Just needed to get a good start and try to make it into turn 1 ahead of Carl, but he was ahead of me and had to make a quick pass and try to latch on to Jake, but Jake was gone by then. and I'm just glad Chris is okay from his little get off. I mean, I love battling with him. It's so much fun to ride. Everyone should come out and do it at least once.
Right on, Sean. Well, I know you guys have a great team and some great support. Who do you need to share some with?
Suburban Motors, Harley Davidson. Without Joe, none of this would even be possible. My mom and dad, Sly Fox, Legends, Bridgestone tires, Ultra Cool, Alloy Art, Fueling. There's a whole mess of them. I can't thank all of you enough.
Right on, everybody. Put your hands together for Sean Hoffman, our second place finisher, the Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street class. We got your second place trophy coming in here right now. All right, Jake, our Australian friend. Put your hands together for Jake, our first place finisher. Also taking home a championship belt, another 1-1 on the weekend. You know, undefeated here in the Super Street class. You're making it look easy out there, but walk us through, you know, what you got going out there on the track.
So today was fun. I'm glad Chris walked away from that crash. I watched it back a few times. It was pretty gnarly, like everyone's seen. So I'm happy he's standing up here right now. The boys rode awesome. They're improving every time they're racing, so it's really cool to see. I had a bit of a difficult race. My seat actually fell off, and I was holding it together with my legs the whole time. That was just from that second start after that red flag. So I popped back and it popped out, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to hold on here. Otherwise, it was awesome. The bike's running great. Thanks to Joe at Suburban. I can't thank everyone enough for being here and helping out. Legends, Alloy Art, Sly Fox, Performance Machine, FG, Heatwave. There's a whole list of people. But, yeah, so much fun being out there. This is so awesome. And, yeah, learning every time I go out.
Right on. We got a #1 trophy and a championship belt. Everybody make some noise. This is our Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street Bagger class.
So a huge congratulations to our top 3 finishers. Going to get together and grab some photos, throw up for the Instagram, trying to hang on to that championship belt. I'm going to be finding a place for it to go along with his other one there from round 1 and 2. And like you said, everybody just very glad to see Chris walk away from that crash. It does sound like he is okay and was down enjoying the podium celebrations as well. So we wish you not only well, and we hope you're doing okay and not injured, but we hope the bike's not too messed up either. We'd love to see you back out there. Man, he was putting on a great battle. But once again, a huge congratulations to Jake, Sean, and Carl for getting on that podium there in the Super Street class. It looks like we have got our lightweight and middleweight Superbike classes coming up next. Looks like that is the 31 getting out to an early race lead, Brett Folkerts. And I'm telling you what, this guy, very similar to like what we said with Jake Masters, you don't want to let him get out front early. The number 31 was going to let these two guys worry about doing all the battle. Once again, Arch York and Scott Short. A little bit of hand gestures there between one another. I think that was a wave I'll see at the finish line as Arch York makes the pass. And slowly but surely, Brett Folkerts out front would just start to inch away from the rest of the competition and pull off to grab the win out of that lightweight Superbike class. But these two were absolutely going at it. Scott Short desperately trying to find a way around that KTM Supermoto. It was truly a great battle. Like we said during the broadcast live, Scott was right there. He was doing everything right, but just couldn't quite get enough power to the ground to be able to find his way around Arch York. Here it is, the number 31 of Brett Folkerts getting the job done and grabbing the race win. We're going to catch up with your top 3. It sounds like we're ready down at the podium with Tony Tucker.
All right. Everybody make some noise. This is your lightweight Superbike podium finishers. Scott Short, 3rd place. This bike looked a lot faster out on track. I don't know what's up here, but LaFonda, the Honda, looks good in the pits here. Walk us through that. Yeah, walk us through that battle with Arch.
Oh man, he showed me what to do in the first race and just checked out. And I was like, I don't know if I got anything for him. He was just on fire, and I was like, man, I need to come up with something. And I sure found some time, kept him honest. That supermotor has so much torque. It's so much fun to race with. I look forward to racing with him every time.
Right on. Give your sponsor some love.
Motorcycle Supply, always helping us out, making sure that we're taken care of. I'd like to thank Brett for being awesome. Rory, where you at, bud? Rory, you're the greatest. He's cute, too. Like, you can't ever be mad at him. He is so much help no matter what. So, thanks, everybody.
Right on. Put your hands together for Scott Short, third place finisher in our lightweight Superbike class. There's that third place trophy. Arch, Tapatia socks came in clutch, huh? That bike looked, that Supermoto, it's not quite what we're used to, but it's got some power, right? Walk us through that race and that battle with Scott.
Absolutely. Trying to recall how it all went down. One thing I'd like to address, the wave that I gave Scott was not a taunting wave. I know better than to taunt before the end of the race. But I made a close pass on him. I trust him, and I know he's a good rider, but I made a close pass, and I wanted to give him a courtesy wave because he's a friend. But the rest of it was just trying to keep my head down and wear off this arm pump. I was getting ridiculous arm pump out there, so now I know what I need to work on when I get back home. But I made a glance back. I learned I need to look back a little bit. I made a look back, and he was right on my tail, and I had to put my head down and try to keep him back there. But I had a blast out there doing it.
Right on, everybody. We got your second place trophy here. Everybody make some noise for Arch York and his Supermoto bike. All right, make some noise. Brett Folkerts, you know, like always, you don't get a ton of TV time because you just get an early lead. You check out, and the battles are all behind you, and you leave it behind. But walk us through what was going through your head out there.
Sure, yeah. These guys were hauling the mail in the first race, and running some really fast times. So I didn't think I was going to be able to keep them behind. So I just, got a really good start and put my head down. I had a couple of moments early, but was able to just kind of peek behind me a couple times to make sure they weren't getting too close. But and then just did all 8 laps without making too many mistakes.
Right on. Give a shout out to all your fantastic sponsors.
Sure. Motorcycle Supply, they're always helping us out with everything. And then the BRL guys, Robin and Jennifer, for putting this stuff on. And then Tony and the guy upstairs, I forget his name, for putting on a great presentation. We really appreciate all the airtime and all the fantastic things you guys do.
Right on. We got a #1 trophy and a championship belt on a 1-1 finish on the weekend. Everybody make some noise for the best looking lightweight Superbike lineup I've ever seen. These motorcycles are great.
Hey, huge congratulations to our top 3 finishers, and nice little clarification there from Arch York. It was just letting him know. I do remember he ran him a little high in that corner before, so and that's what we talked about as far as the camaraderie goes. He said, that pass was a little closer than I wanted. I'm going to give him a wave just to be safe. So a little photo bombing action there as well for Arch, and everybody having a great time. That's what it's all about. The hugs that come after the race, the pictures with the friends and the families, that's just as much what the people look forward to as lining up and watching the racing as well. So a huge congratulations to our lightweight Superbike class finishers. And the Fonda the Honda off and rolling once again as we get ready for our middleweight Superbike podium. And we're standing by with the winner down on the podium with Tony Tucker.
All right, make some noise. This is our middleweight Superbike class winner, Jamie Hansen. A hard-fought battle. You're going to take home, a couple of #1 trophies and a championship belt here. Go ahead and bring those in here. Jamie, tell us about the action out there on track.
Well, I guess I didn't have that much competition, and I was not the happiest that I didn't have the tires to go play with the other guys, and yeah, so it feels kind of weird getting this, but
that's all right, man. A win's a win,
Yeah, I was hoping to go home with 2 of them, and I'm only getting 1 now, but I'll take it.
Yeah, be proud. That was a great ride. After the save in the early race, hats off to you. Go ahead and give some love to your sponsors.
LM2 Racing, Trackside Labs, A Affordable Bail Bonds, SCS, DP Brakes, BRL, and Dad, and the rest of my family and friends and all them back home.
Right on. Everybody make some noise. Our middleweight Superbike class winner, Jamie Hansen.
So congratulations there to Jamie getting the job done in that middleweight class. Going to grab a #1 plate and that shiny gold championship belt to go along with it. Everybody hanging out, having a good time here at the Podium Celebrations. Look at that. He says take 2 wheels, and I'll drop 1 wheel and 1 wheel off. As we get ready for our next podium, let's take a look back here at the RacerTV.com replay. Once again, we find some familiar names up at the front of the field. He runs that tight inside line, and the 31 of Volkerts finds himself at the top of the field here in the air-cooled twins and unlimited superbike class. We had a battle of the Buells out, as well as Tony Bangma doing a great job on that old school Buell, as Tony liked to call it, getting chased down by the 188 of Matthew Laurent. And Laurent, there you would see he'd make the pass. And these two, once again, you want to talk about a yo-yo back and forth battle. Just when you thought the rider was going to ride off with it, he'd get closed back in. Here you see Laurent really able to put that power to the ground and stretch things out just by a couple of bike lengths. But then as soon as you think he was going to start to ride away, Bangma would be able to close right back in on it. Pulled in within a couple of bike lengths towards the end of the race, but was just never able to do anything with it. You see a little bit of head shake there. Laurent gets kind of sideways coming out of the corner. It's an absolute drag race headed down the back straightaway. And you see Laurent, he gets the edge, moves over just a little bit, and is going to maintain the lead in the top spot there. You see Volkerts grabbing the win. And Laurent and Bangma would go all the way down to the wire. Bangma getting a great drive there on the final lap. We thought that was going to be for the pass. Definitely could have made some contact. I don't think it would have done either one of them any favors. Laurent hangs the throttle wide open, moves back in front, and is going to cross the line just behind. So that one, another absolute bar-banging battle all the way to the checkered flag between Bangma and Laurent there on the Buell machines. We've got them set up and should be ready here in just a minute. They're going to be chatting it up with Tony Tucker. This one's going to be exciting to hear exactly how that battle went down, what the riders were thinking as they went back and forth throughout this air-cooled twins and unlimited superbike class podium. And it looks like we've got the bikes up on the stands, and we're ready to send it down to our man Tony Tucker there on the podium.
All right, everybody, make some noise. This is our DP Brakes air-cooled twins podium finishers. Bob Parker, I know you're riding injured, just trying to give it your all out there. Walk us through what you were feeling out there.
Yeah, it was a good race. I thought I was going to be able to keep these guys in my sights after the first couple of laps, and they started to pull a little bit of a gap on me. Started to get a little tired. Ribs are feeling a little rough, but no excuses. Happy to be out here. Super stoked on the bike, the setup, everything that happened this weekend, and really happy to be standing up here on the podium.
Right on. I know you got some great sponsors. Who do you need to thank today?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, Two Boss Performance and SNS Cycles. They were absolutely huge in getting this powertrain together. Geezer Engineering and A+ Performance Cycles for that front end was absolutely awesome. 456 Print Co., Screaming Speed and Fab. Really, really grateful for everyone that's part of this program.
Right on. We got your third place trophy coming in here. Put your hands together, Bob Parker. Third place in our DP Brakes air-cooled twins class. All right, everybody. Jake McGuire. Jake, making us proud on these soft tails. You and Bob, just getting out there, making it look easy on these things. Walk us through your race.
Thought I was going to hang with those guys a little bit more. He's gone by turn one. It's awesome to watch him. I hate to get it this way. I know Chris would have been up here. I'm glad he's all right, though. Lost my brakes about halfway through the race, so that was a little bit sketchy. No rears at all, but managed to hang on another good weekend.
Right on. I know you got some fantastic sponsors. Who do you need to thank?
Grim Reapers MC, Harley Davidson Bowling Green, got Galfer Brakes helping me out, RC Components, Twisted Tea Industries, Electric Tattoo Company, and Easy Cheesy Pizza.
Right on. We got your second place trophy coming in here. Put your hands together for Jake McGuire, second place finisher. All right, Tony Bangma, make some noise here. Going 1-1 on the weekend. You had a good battle out there. This was a mixed class. You had, some of the unlimited superbike guys out there. You and the new generation Buell in a good battle out there. Walk us through your race.
Well, I've been having mediocre starts all weekend, so I wanted to have a good start, get out front, but I wanted to have a good race with Matt. The new Buell versus the old Buell I thought would be really cool.
Yeah, it was great to see on TV, on the broadcast. We were talking about it, old Buell versus new Buell. It was fun to see, exciting to see, and I know you got some great sponsors. Who do you need to thank for being out here today?
Brony's Furniture for building a absolutely incredible bike, Rapid Cycle Works, EBC Brakes, Michelin Tires, CD Boots, Motion Pro, Blood Lubricants, and Rhino Power Sports Supplements.
Right on, everybody. Put your hands together. We got a championship belt coming in here for Tony Bangma. He takes home a 1-1 win on the weekend. These are your DP Brakes Air-Cooled Twins podium finishers. Make some noise, everybody.
So great to hear from our top three out of... There we go. So taking a look now on screen, once again, a huge congratulations to our top three. Tony Bangma there grabbing the win with Jake McGuire getting up on the podium, as well as Robert Parker, and getting the job done with hurt ribs, as well. As if anybody at home or anybody here has ever broken ribs, you know just how hard that is to do. So a huge shout out to those racers for getting the job done. And like Tony talked about, that was a mixed class. So we did have multiple classes out there at once. And it looks like we're going to get the 31 machine lined up back in front of the podium. And this guy knows how to do it. When he's on the box, he goes right to the center, because that's how he does it. He gets out front early and is pretty much able to handle business from there. And he's ready to chat down on the podium. We're going to send things down back to Tony Tucker.
Got audio now? There we go. Little mic malfunction. And it looks like our second place finisher is going to make his way in here, but sorry about that. Brett Folkerts, a hard-fought battle out there with the Buell. Walk us through your race. You pretty much checked out, made it look easy. Walk us through how you're making that look so easy.
It was anything but easy. Going back-to-back from the Ninja 400 to this Kramer is a bit of a handful, but I was able to put a sketchy pass from the back row to get the whole shot, and then I knew that it would kind of slow those guys up. So, again, just put my head down and started ticking off the laps. So it was a lot of fun.
Right on. We're kind of doing this a little bit out of order. This is our first place finisher, Brett Folkerts. We have a #1 trophy and a championship belt going 1-1 on the weekend. Congratulations. Make some noise for Brett Folkerts here. All right, and our second place finisher, Matt Laurent on the new generation Buell. We saw you battling out there with the old Buell, and it's fun to see old versus new. Walk us through what was going on out there.
Yeah, so the newer Buell is quicker. It's just I'm slower than Tony.
Well, that way to be honest there.
Yeah. It was fun. I was in the right class today, and I like mixing it up with people. It's much more fun racing like bar to bar than just being out by yourself. So I had a bunch of fun today. It was fun having Bagger League got me out. Just a blast.
Right on. I know you got some great sponsors. Who do you need to thank today?
Yeah, I want to thank Buell and Vortex for making it happen for me to be here. I want to thank Heroic and Forma for keeping me safe, and Bridgestone for helping me set the bike up and making sure I had good sticky rubber to go fast.
Right on, everybody. Make some noise. These are your top finishers in the Unlimited Superbike class. Next up, we're going to have our final podium. It's going to be the American Twins Unlimited class coming up soon.
All right, so once again, a huge congratulations to our top three or top two there out of that podium. Brett Falker's getting the job done, and Matthew Laurent throwing himself under the bus. He says, hey, wait a second, this Buell is fast. It's me that it was waiting on. So nonetheless, I think a solid performance for both the old school and the new school Buells out here this weekend, and we're glad to have you guys out. Obviously, like we said, not too far from the headquarters of Buell, and so we're glad to have them hanging out with us this weekend as we get ready for the final podium of the afternoon, the American Twins Unlimited class. Going to get the 56 machine back in the middle of the podium. Get everything set up, and then we'll turn it back down to Tony and chat with our final three riders of the day. Once again, guys, if you have not already, please make sure you're following along at Bagger Racing League on Instagram, baggerracingleague.com, to find out exactly when we're going to be in our next up-and-coming races. Like we said, going international later this year as well, taking a trip up to Canada. And then, of course, there's final rounds out at Willow Springs in California in November. But right now, we've got one final podium left to do. We've got the bike set up, the riders standing by, and we're going to send it down to Tony Tucker at the podium.
How about audio now? We're going to get through these technical difficulties one way or another, but everybody make some noise. This is your Zippers performance. American Twins Unlimited class. Craig Braymiller coming in third place. It's a hard-fought battle. You got to be happy with the result. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, again, starting from the back row, just working through traffic. Shout out to all the guys in that class. It's a lot of fun. It's a good second class to run. Carl, Emilio, all you guys are riding great. The dude in the dyno, last name's McGuire, I think. Yeah, he's flying. He's riding well. Shout out to these guys, too, for just crushing it. It was a lot of fun out there today.
Right on. I know you have a great team behind you, supporting you. Who do you need to thank?
First and foremost, my fiance, Victoria. She makes all this possible for me. Everybody at Kimani's birthday, happy birthday, buddy. But A+ Performance Cycle, Scott and Adam put together a really awesome bike. Geezer Engineering, DP Brakes and Clutches, 13 Monkeys Whiskey, the Cantergolo Law Firm, Gowanda Harley Davidson, Saddleman, everybody out there, thank you very much.
Right on, everybody. Make some noise. Third place finisher, Craig Braymiller. All right, our second place finisher, Matt, you didn't have to move far. You're in the right spot, man. You got out, we were wondering in the broadcast booth, was fitness a factor out there? It looked like you were charging hard in the early and then just kind of faded back a little bit. Walk us through what was going on out there.
Yeah. Fitness was a little bit of a factor, but for the most part, I kind of had a little bit of braking issue coming into. I had some brake fade, and I just didn't want to push, and I'd rather finish and then just not finish. So I pushed a pace I was comfortable with. It was fun hanging with Tony as much as I could, but I got some work to do, and I'm not in the right spot. I should be over there.
Well, it's always a learning lesson every time we go out on track. We got your second place trophy here. Everybody put your hands together. Matt Laurent and his beautiful Buell motorcycle, second place finisher here in the Zippers Performance ATU class. All right, everybody. Our last, Tony, you didn't have to go far. You're up here on the top of the box again. Basically in this one, it just looked like you just put your head down and marched forward and checked out.
Yeah, that was the plan. I know I had some fast guys behind me. Had to just nail the start and put my head down and not look back.
Right on. I know you got a good team. Who do you need to thank?
Bruni's Furniture, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Rapid Cycle Works, Michelin Tires, EBC Brakes, Blood Lubricants, and Rhino Power Sports Supplements.
Right on, everybody. Make some noise. We got a #1 trophy and another championship belt going to Tony Bangma here in our Zippers Performance American Twins Unlimited class, and that wraps it up down here on the podium. Back up to you, Zach.
All right. Thanks, Tony, and a huge congratulations to Tony Bangma and the rest of our final podium. Going to grab those shots and celebrate with their friends, family, and the rest of the BRL racing community. And just like that, folks, just as quickly as it came, rounds 3 and 4 are in the rear view mirror. The 2024 Drag Specialties Battle of the Bagger season is officially off and rolling, and man, what a weekend we had. Some great weather, a little bit of drizzle early in the weekend, but a beautiful day to close things off. That beautiful Michigan sunshine giving us a great day of racing. A couple of close calls, one rider going down. Chris, glad you're okay, glad you're walking around And glad to have all of the fans and hopefully some new fans as well out on Racer TV enjoying all of the high-flying action that is right here at BRL. We're excited for the partnership and excited to see what the future holds for not only the rest of the 2024 season, but beyond for both BRL and Racer TV. Again, a huge congratulations to our undefeated riders so far, the Jake Masters, Cody Gilmore, and Ruben Zaus, really separating himself from the rest of the field. Don't forget, folks, make sure you're following us on social media. That's at Racer TV and at Bagger Racing League. And until then, for all of us, Rob Binus, Tony Tucker here at BRL, I'm Zach Herron. We'll see you guys next time out at the races.